But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 6, 3, 2, 9, 7.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Friday, and that means it is show night. And what a day today has been. Has anybody been watching? If you haven't been watching, don't worry, because they've been watching you. This show is about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. They're still legal yet, but as of right now, that's debatable on where it's headed. So the things we like to talk about, of course, are aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the 24-hour news cycle. We talk about academia. We talk about the government. We talk about major corporations. We talk about people. And we talk about how all of that fits into all of this. And and I mean, in the end, this show is really about you. This show is really about us. This show is about how we live in the upside down, and a lot of the things that we're made to believe or kind of are fed to us as a what would you say? Not really like a directive, but it's more like this illusion we live in, right? Where we're supposed to believe that, like, for instance, let's just throw out a quick example, that our Congress has our best interest, right? Like if you've been watching this past year, I'm pretty sure that illusion's been pretty much crushed and thrown into the fire. So, I mean, those are the types of things, right? We're supposed to walk around and believe these certain things are true. And many times, these certain things are not true whatsoever. They're the exact opposite of what's true. It's just socially unacceptable to talk about it. It's socially unacceptable to bring it up. And that, of course, if you bring it up around the water cooler at work, you know, you're like, hey, Jimmy, what do you think about the possibility of aliens visiting planet Earth? You might get fired. so as a result of all of that, this is kind of one of those conspiracy aliens, paranormal type safe spaces. I hate the term. I hate labels at all. But this is where you can think what you want to think, and you can be who you want to be. And that's really what the show's about. The show's about you. The show's about me. The show's about all of us getting together and talking about all these things that are, let's say, unsavory. I think that's probably a good word, right? And but again, I think given all that, and we're going to talk about thought crimes tonight, and we're going to talk about 1984 and George Orwell and the technocracy. That's what's on deck tonight. Okay, but this show is a long-form talk show, all right? So we do a lot of blah, blah, blah from here to there, okay? So if you're wanting the aliens right this second, you're not going to get them, all right? So just settle in, put your feet up, grab a beer or a beverage of your choice, grab some popcorn, and let's hang out and let's talk. And I say that because this show includes you. If you want to be part of the show, we've always streamed the show live. This show has always been live. This show will always be live. Because to me, transparency is an important thing, right? We talk about propaganda all the time. When we talk about a show like maybe Sean Hannity or Don Lemon or things like this, where, like I said, I challenge you to call in. No matter how many phone calls you make, you'll never get on their show because they don't take calls, because they have a very tight schedule and they have a lot of propaganda to get to. So they have no time for anything you think whatsoever. They want to tell you what to think. And so we hope to be the opposite of that. This is not the answer show. This is the question show. So if you're looking for answers, you're in the wrong place. But if you're looking for a good conversation, sometimes entertaining stuff, you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot. So, okay, here we go. If you want to be part of the show, the phone number to call is 702-957-1037. That's a Las Vegas area code. That's where we're streaming from. You can also join the Discord. Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's what all the kids are using, basically, to play video games or whatever, right? So if you don't like the Las Vegas area code and you're maybe international or something, Discord is free, and it's a voice client and a chat client, like I said, so you can actually join the show that way. Just go to troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Click the Discord link. It will give you a direct invite straight to our Discord, and then just jump in the caller queue. We'll put you on the show. Simple as that. So with that said, we're going to do shout-outs in just a sec, because we're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on... where else? D-Live. We're streaming on Periscope, as long as Periscope is still a thing. They're about to delete that, I think, which is part of Twitter. And we used to be streaming on more. It's interesting. When we first started, we were streaming on 6 or 7 or 8 platforms, even one in Japan. but as this continues and they start to make these places where you can actually stream concurrently a little bit different, then it's trimmed down considerably. So we'll talk about that as we go, and we'll talk about Twitter tonight, of course, and some other things. That's what's on deck. So, but we will do shout outs. So if you're listening out there and you want to shout out, just type in the chat where you're listening from, and we will shout you out in just a sec. But we're going to take a phone call. We got a phone call coming in right now, so we're going to take this first. But go ahead and put the shout out, or I'm sorry, put your name and where you're listening from, and we will shout you out in just a sec, but we're going to take this phone call and get Jay off the phone here real quick. Get him in, get him on, and we haven't even brought up a topic yet, really. But we got Jay here calling in from New York. So let's go to Jay from New York, and let's find out what's going on with Jay. Jay, you were on Troubled Minds with Mike. How you doing, my man?
Great, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Wow, pleasure's mine, sir. Go right ahead. What's on your mind tonight?
So the thing puts up in the restreaming bot that your show is live and stuff like that. So I go to all the channels and everything else like that, and I can't find any of them.
Oh, that's curious.
So, yeah, that's odd, isn't it? Considering. But, so I called the show up so I could listen to it live, and it reminded me of something that we used to do when we were kids back in the 80s. We would call the party line, and we would all listen to whoever was talking, and people would chime in at times. And it was just... You got a ham radio, dude, just in case?
I do, actually.
You know?
I'm not I'm not sure we could broadcast on that, because it's illegal. No, that's illegal, man. It's illegal.
On that?
No, the FCC won't let you do that shit. That's illegal. You can't do it. You can't do it.
You can't put stuff on ham radio? You can't do talk shows on ham radio anymore?
No. Oh, come on. You got to be kidding me. You need to have your own radio station. You need to have a license. You can no, you can't do any of that shit. Come on.
I'm talking about ham radio.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, it's illegal. It is illegal.
The guys that are driving, most of the guys put the license. call sign on the license plate of their car. It's like $50 or something like that, dude, to be a ham radio operator.
Okay, a ham radio operator is not able to broadcast a talk show. It just doesn't work that way. Trust me, I've looked into it.
But you can pick them up on when we were in the Boy Scouts as kids, we used to take the AM radios and go up there in the mountains and stuff like that, and you tune in to all kinds of crazy people talking about wrapping tinfoil over your head. The aliens are coming. The Chinese are invading us from the Hanjin containers that they send over here in ships with their army and stuff. It was all kinds of crazy stuff. It was on the radio. You listened to it late night at the radio. Late night radio.
Gotcha. Not quite. Okay, so here's the deal. If you're looking for the show and you want to listen to it and you get the notification, just go straight to the website, man. Troubled Minds Radio. troubledminds.org is the official website, and you just right there on the main page, dude, is YouTube. You just press play on the middle one, and you're good to go. We're streaming right there on the website.
YouTube kicked me right off. Is what I'm trying to tell you, man.
Oh, YouTube kicked you off?
It kicked me right off.
Okay, try it again.
Me live when I get a.
Try it again. There's people on YouTube right now.
When we're on the phone.
Yeah, well, don't do that because
Can you do the restream pod or something like that? There it is. Transmitting on the amateur ham radio requires you to have a license. Awesome.
Yeah. All right, so do me a favor. We're going to get this show started. Give me a call back in a little bit when you get this figured out. It is troubledminds.org right there on the main page, dude. Right in the front. Click play, and we'll there you go. We'll talk to you later. I'm sure you'll call back. Okay.
Cool. All right, I will. Bye.
All right, appreciate it, man. Okay, there you go. Let's. Phone line works. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate the call. As always, guys, we know that the notifications are a little bit weird with us because, of course, we're not talking about political narratives, lefty, righty, whatever. We're not talking about any of that stuff, right? Because if we did, we'd get boosted to the top, right? Like the technocracy is a little bit more. Well, I guess maybe it depends on which side you're talking from, but still, like it's not an approved narrative here. We don't follow the mainstream, and so as a result of that, some of the notifications has been weird. We've been kicked off in real time. This is actually the secondary YouTube channel because the initial one we've been banned for 3 months from streaming, which will be back, oddly enough, January 20th, which is the same day as Joe Biden gets inaugurated. So anyway, all right, let's go. We're still doing this. We're still streaming. We're still talking. Like I said, this is still legal. Let's go. All right, so we're talking about the digital purge tonight and what's actually happening. But let's do shout outs first. So we're going to go straight to Facebook. What's up, guys? Thanks for being here. We got Armando. Tonight's going to be a good one. He says thanks. We got Peter tagging Timothy. Thanks for tagging people. Do share it up, guys. It does help the reach. It does help people find us, and it does help with all that discoverability stuff when we know that the notifications are a little bit sketchy sometimes. Robert, thanks for being here. Says when some speech is not protected, nobody's speech is protected. Amen, brother. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Derek from Saskatchewan, thanks for being here. We love our Canadians. Susie says it's already started. Yes, it has, hasn't it? It has already begun. Gregory, thanks for being here, our resident historian. Elizabeth, the memory hole, it's for a troubled mind. Yes, it is. Welcome, Elizabeth. Thanks for showing up tonight. Kelly, thanks for being here from South Australia. 17, my number. What's that? I'm not sure what you mean. Scully, what's up from the Manted crew? Locked in. The Black Manted crew locked in. Kelly, no, you call me. I'm not calling you. I can't call you on air. You call me. Troubledminds.org phone number and the Discord link are there. Sean says, no worries, Mike. America and the Area 51 elites have Troubled Minds radio tonight. Is not glitching. Yeah, there you go. What's up, William from Singapore? Thanks for being here tonight. Kelly says, I'm a merge since April 23rd, 2020. I have no idea what you mean. Call me and tell me. Beer's good tonight, says Derek. Alex says, we're next. How you doing? Tony says, hey guys, how's everyone tonight? I almost forgot when I called in last week about the ghost story. There was one more I forgot to tell you. Okay, call and tell me. We'll talk about that too. Let's see. Brandy and eggnog, cheers. Just beer as usual over here. Rob says, shit's getting wacky. Been away for months. I've sure missed a lot. Yeah, right? Exactly. Shit is weird. 2020 has been weird. 2021 started out even more weird, if you can believe that. Let's see. Rajesh from Canada, thanks for being here. Well, let's see what else. We got Juan, hello. Thanks for showing up. Sherry, Hello, how you doing? Peter, maybe if you want to do it in Morse code. Yeah, you can't do ham radio, guys. You can't do a show on ham radio unless you want to get arrested or like heavy fines. It just doesn't work. I mean, you can get away with it for a little while, but you can't get away with it forever. Eric says, what's the link for YouTube? Can't find the link live. Go to troubledminds.org. Troubledminds.org. Always, guys, Tuesday, Friday night, 8 p.m. Pacific. Once we go live, whether you get a notification or not, just jump over there straight to the website. You can find us streaming right on the website, right on the page. So it's always there. Just everything's in one spot, so you don't have to try and jump around and find out what page is banned, what page is not, what any of that stuff. Straight to one source, troubledminds.org. Okay, I'll just continue talking about that because I always do. Sherry says smoke signals on deck. Yes, that's exactly that. Derek, what's up? Rob says snowflakes is at an all-time high. Is it snowing where you're at? Robert, thanks for being here. Says trick or treat. It can't tweet, can't speak. Give me more big tech and smell my feet. Yes, sir. Mateo, I'm online for now. Thanks for being here. Jay says hello from Northern Quebec, Canada. Sean from Canada, thanks for being here. We love our Canadians again. Randall from Pawnee, Oklahoma. Your show always comes in clutch. Keep exposing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Tanner from South Africa, thanks for being here tonight. And let's go over to YouTube. We got Axel Steele gets first. What's up, buddy? Thanks for showing up. What's going on with Twitter, man? I met Axel on Twitter. What is going on? I want to hear, if you got a take on Twitter, Axel, I want to hear, buddy. You're a smart guy. I want to hear what you got to say because there's some whack shit going on with Twitter tonight. GameDad02, big hello from Minnesota, trucking across Wisconsin. Thanks for showing up. Bailey, hello. Heart's back at you. Thanks for being here tonight. We got many subjects answered. What's up? Good to see you as well. Super Vike, the captain of the Thumbs Down crew. Thanks for being here, man. Jay of Bigginton. What's up? Not finding it. Yep, you find it. What's up? We got Eli. Thanks for being here. Eli was quick on Discord when I said we're going to be delayed tonight. A little bit late starting. Gloria, thanks for showing up. I see you there on YouTube. We got who else? Let's see. Let's read. Bailey says this, and this is true. Transmitting on amateur ham radio requires you to have a license. That's how you get your call sign. Amateur radio licenses allow you to communicate between users, but not to broadcast a program, and that is 100% correct. You can't just hijack your local radio station because you could, right? Let's say here in Vegas, let's say I know 790 or 720 or some radio stations here, some talk radios, actual talk radio, right? So if I was going to do it, I could do it. I could, so let's see, 720 is like a 50,000 watt radio station, so I probably wouldn't do that because they'll blast me out. But if I was going to broadcast, I'd probably hit 790, which is not it's a lot less. I don't know how many megawatts or whatever watts they're blasting out, but it's quite a bit less. So if I was going to do it, I could actually hijack their station in my area up here and broadcast this show on their actual 790, right, directly on their frequency. But of course, what do you think would happen if I did that? Eventually, somebody would come knock on the door and be like, "Hey, yeah," and they probably wouldn't be polite. No, what's up? Supervike says tech support with Michael Strange. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. What's up, Noble Callow? Thanks for being here. You're late, but you're here. No problem. I'm late too, so you're right on time. Let's see. Bailey says the 17th number is that letter. I can't say it. I'm not going to say that letter. That letter is banned. You can no longer say that letter. Geo Magician, what's up? Says Twitch says you were offline. Is that normal? Yeah. All right. So just to clarify, guys, we've actually broken off of Twitch, and that's an entirely new show. So because we can monetize Twitch now directly, what they require, unfortunately, is a 24-hour exclusivity period. So the way we're doing it now is instead we used to do the news on this show. So we've broken off the entire news broadcast, and the conspiracy news is over there exclusively on Twitch for 24 hours. Then it comes over and gets uploaded to YouTube. So if you guys haven't seen that show, check it out. It goes Sunday through Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific, and we do just the news over there, just the conspiracy news. And it's very much like this. It's shorter, though. It's an hour long-ish or something like that. And we do take live calls and talk about all this stuff. So just FYI, that's what's going on. It's a completely separate show now. So we're not streaming this show on Twitch anymore. Let's see. And there's a reason for that. I'll explain the reason for that. There's more than one reason. Let's see. What else do we got? Who else have we not said hello to? Who else? Hello. I see there. Brian says I'm finding it on Discord now. Matt says you were correct, Mike. Very good. You need a license to broadcast. Yes, that is true. Eric says found it. Troubled Minds Media on YouTube. That's the one. Let's see. Joanne from Australia. Thanks for being here. Kelly from the very far west Texas. Hello. Who else? Anybody I missed? Okay. Anyway, this is the deal. If I missed you, just type in where you're listening from, and we'll shout you out as we go. No problem. All right. Now, let's get to the topic at hand, shall we? Let's get to the topic at hand. One more time, streaming live, recording this live, doing all this live, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link if you want to be part of the show. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. And let's do it. Let's talk about what happened today. Let's talk about what's going down. Now, okay, as everybody knows, we're not going to talk about the raid at the Capitol and any of this stuff. The peaceful protest or the riots or the insurrection or however you want it. Whatever news station you turn on, they're all calling it something different. We're not going to talk about that today. All right, we're talking about the blowback, the fallout. The technocracy has made their move. Right now, there's some crazy stuff going on today. If you haven't been paying attention, all right, let's start with this. Let's just go right here. Let's go right to the heart of this. Now, if you haven't been watching the news show, this hit yesterday, and I talked about this on our actual news show yesterday. So this is from Twitter, wink wink Twitter. This is from my Twitter account, Troubled Minds Are, at Troubled Minds Are. If you want to follow me there, well, we'll see how long I'm there. But YouTube implements Orwell's memory hole. Now, we'll talk about what a memory hole is and what any of this stuff means, because there's a lot here, a lot to really talk about, a lot to discuss, a lot to think about. And again, right, this is not the answer show. This is the question show, and I want to know what you guys think as we go. Is this something we should be seriously concerned about, or is this just nothing to see here? Shrug your shoulders, business as usual, right? I think that's really what this is about. It's kind of a conversation to make you think and make you, if you know, not this with us or against us business like they always tell you in the mainstream. Just you take the information and you go make up your own mind. We don't have to agree with each other like some kind of stupid echo chamber. We don't have to disagree and throw mud at each other like Twitter or Facebook or any of the other anythings out there. But okay, so here we go. So YouTube implements Orwell's memory hole. This is a tweet from me. Time to reform Section 230 or all the technocracy will follow, and the breadth of allowed conversation will narrow dangerously and significantly. Now, I tweeted this just a couple days ago. This was January 7th. What the hell's the date today? I don't even know what the day is today. It is, I think it's the 9th, right? Is it the 9th today? Okay, I don't know. I have no freaking idea. Okay, hold on. Let me get my window back up here. Okay, so I don't know what damn date it is, but this was a couple days ago. I think it's the 9th. But look, here's the thing. That doesn't make a difference. I said then, 2 days ago, think about this. The breadth of allowed conversation will narrow dangerously and significantly, right? And I don't really have a big following on Twitter, and I'm not tweeting all day trying to like stir up drama between this dude and that dude with some hashtags, and like that's what the algorithm favors. That's what the algorithm wants, right? You do that. Like I could do that. Like I could go start shit between this person and that person, and then just stir it up and stoke the fires, and do all that. You could do that, and there's a lot of people that do that, and they make a living doing that. But that's not what this show's about, all right? So here we go. What started all this 2 days ago? Now this is 2 days ago, right? Now, this is what was tweeted by YouTube, and which made me retweet and talk about YouTube implements Orwell's memory hole. All right, now, this is the actual tweet thread from, actually, hold on. Let me, as always, I want to link my sources here so you guys are able to follow up on me. Like I said, don't ever take anything I say as gospel or the truth or any of that. You always have to double check me because I could be wrong. I'm human just like you, right? And as much as I'm wrong, I'm also right sometimes. And so it's just the way it goes. Double check me, make sure these sources are good, and then go with what you believe, So here we go. There's the first link. Here's the second one. Now, this is what YouTube actually instituted just a couple days ago. This is literally just a couple days ago. And I didn't expect it to explode so quickly, but it did. Like this shit went off the rails. All right, so let's read some of this. Now, this is from YouTube Insider, and this is them actually updating their policies, okay? So, due to the disturbing events that transpired yesterday, and given that the election results have now been certified, starting today, any channels posting new videos with false claims in violation of our policies will now receive a strike. All right. Number 2, over the last month, we've removed thousands of videos which spread misinformation claiming widespread voter fraud changed the result of the 2020 election, including several videos President Trump posted to his channel. Okay. It continues. Like other major policy updates in our help center, we noted that there would be a short grace period after the December update, and new content that broke our rules would be removed without penalty. The grace period was scheduled to end on Inauguration Day. All right. We talked about this when they announced that back in December. Okay. Now, number 4 says channels that receive a strike are temporarily suspended from posting or live streaming. Channels that receive 3 strikes in the same 90-day period will be permanently removed from YouTube. We apply our policies and penalties consistently, regardless of who uploads it. No. No. Oh, boy. And here's the actual updated terms of service from Google, straight from the horse's mouth, straight from the technocrats themselves, straight from all of this. All right, here we go. So I'm linking this, and you guys can check this out. And oh, geez. All right. So okay. So with that said, now again, this was 2 days ago. This was 2 freaking days ago, guys. And I was like, all right. So I did a quick news blurb on this. There wasn't too much, drama behind it. It was like, okay, we saw this coming. No big deal. They said you can't talk about election fraud, right? Yeah. They said you can't do it. So of course, what did I do? Tonight, as part of the show, we're talking about election fraud, but not what you think, because, of course, if you're smart, you can dance around these things, and if they want to ban me anyway, then we have a problem, don't we? But we're going to actually include election fraud as part of the show tonight, but not what you think. Hang tight. It's not like they said, but it made me wonder, right? It definitely made me wonder, okay, so we're not allowed to say this particular thing or that particular thing, but they've given us a grace period. Now you get a YouTube copyright strike. I'm sure Facebook's going to follow pretty heavy-handedly with everything, because these guys work together, right? They work together. You want proof of that? Let's continue. Let's continue that they work together. What's up, Johnson? I see you on YouTube. Thanks for showing up tonight. But okay, there we go. There is where we're starting with this. Okay, 2 days ago, YouTube said that due to this disturbing events of what happened at the Capitol, that we are actually going to start cracking down on channels with false claims in violation of the policies, and talking about widespread voter fraud changed the result of the 2020 election. So what we're talking about tonight, in part, is how widespread voter fraud changed the result of the 1960 election. So... There you go. In part, that's what we're talking about tonight. All right. So this is a result. Like I said, 2 days ago, I was like, okay, this is something that's, it's happening. Google has made the move, and they've kind of thrown down the gauntlet, and they've been like, all right, well, we're not taking any more of this shit, guys. You conspiracy theorists, you lying assholes. We're gonna just start smacking down some copyright strikes, and then we're gonna just remove you entirely, right? Like they've done this. This is not new. They've been doing this to other people. They've been doing this, and sure, some people deserve it, in my opinion, right? Like you can't come on here and literally just call for revolution, right? I mean, I'm with that. I'm with, like, open revolution. If you're doing that like on a public platform, first you're a moron first, and then second, you deserve to be taken down, right? But that's not the conversation here, is it? Because I'm on record for hundreds of hours. Many of you listen to the show for a very long time. All right, and when have I ever called for open revolution? Ever? And when have I ever implied it? Never. Because I believe in this system. I love this country. And I think that we can reform it. I don't think we need to overthrow anything. Really. I mean that. And so as a result of that, here we are talking about this, talking about how they're making the move. And so you can't talk about election fraud, widespread, that changed the result of the 2020 election, which, of course, we've talked about that already. So why would we talk about that again? So we're going to go back to 1960. We're going to time travel just a little bit like we do on this show, and we'll do some of that tonight. Okay, and we'll get to that shortly. But okay, so then I want to talk about what also happened today. All right, what also happened today? There's some other interesting things that happened today. And so before we do that, we are taking your calls. This is, again, long-form talk show. We're just kind of kicking it. We're talking about all the things that we always do, and it's aliens, conspiracy, paranormal, but today just happens to be conspiracy. It happens to be the surveillance state, kind of 1984 style, and the rest of that. So that's what we're doing tonight. And we are taking your calls, so we do it live to include you, because transparency is an important thing. If you want to be part of the show tonight, just dial this phone number, 702 888-957-1037. Jay was nice enough to test the phone lines early on. It's working. And if you want to, if you don't like the Las Vegas area code and you're international or something to that effect, Discord is free. You can actually join our Discord server and just join the caller queue, and you can find the Discord link, the invite link, at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And the phone number and the Discord link are both on the website. So if you guys are looking for any information regarding the show, go to troubledminds.org. It's all there. It's all there, including the other podcast we're doing, the news show. It's all there, okay? Okay, so let's see. Got some chat. I'll read some of this chat. And let's see. All right, what are we doing? All right, there we go. So let's go to what happened today. Now, what happened today? You guys watching this? All right. So then the other one of the other hands of the technocracy made a move, right? Because of course, permanently suspending a sitting president from a public tech platform is, I guess, standard now. It's about to be, or maybe they've just made a exception for our Orange Man bad. Okay, here we go. This is from the Twitter blog, and this all went down today, guys. Now, oddly enough, like I said, we were talking about how dangerous this may have been 2 days ago when YouTube said basically, hey, we're not going to do this because talking about election fraud is dangerous and it's whooping people up or whatever they said, right? I'm badly paraphrasing, but you can read the documents right there. That's all there for you, and you can read their reasons why. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so hold on, let me link this to the other. This stuff is just too funny. This stuff is way too funny. What's up, Michelle? Thanks for being here tonight. I see. Who else am I looking for? Brian, what's up? Joanne, this is how it starts. This is how it starts. Well, this is the thing. I didn't expect it. Like I said, 2 days ago, this is how it starts. Again, let's go back and just read my tweet real fast. This is what I said. YouTube implements Orwell's memory hole. We'll talk about what a memory hole is a little bit later in the show here. Time to reform Section 230 or all the technocracy will follow, and the breadth of allowed conversation will narrow dangerously and significantly, right? And again, I don't have a big Twitter following. It's fine. I'd rather have you guys listening than some extra follows that want to, agitate me and do this or do that. So here we go. Here's this. Now, to Twitter today. Permanent suspension of @RealDonaldTrump. All right, let's read this. After close review of recent tweets from @RealDonaldTrump account and the context around them, specifically how they are being received and interpreted on and off Twitter, we have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. In the context of horrific events this week, we made it clear on Wednesday that additional violations of the Twitter rules would potentially result in this very course of action. Our public interest framework exists to enable the public to hear from elected officials and world leaders directly. It is built on a principle that the people have a right to hold power to account in the open. However, we made it clear, going back years, that these accounts are not above our rules entirely and cannot use Twitter to incite violence, among other things. We will continue to be transparent around our policies and their enforcement. The below is a comprehensive analysis of our policy enforcement approach in this case. All right, now, here we go. Now, we're not going to, we could go through this and, blah, blah. These are the exact reasons, right? Now, I know many of you, we watch the media, how this progresses and how, everybody fact checks everything that Donald Trump says on a daily basis. And like I said, I'm no Donald Trump lover. There's a lot of things to criticize about this man, and that's being polite. Okay. However, do you think this is even about Donald Trump? I think so. I can look at this and actually, sort of, as a human can do anyway, remove him from the equation. All right, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you support him, if you don't, if you're somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter if you hate him, if you love him. I don't care. It does not matter. All right. The thing that matters the most here is the technocrats and how they make their move and how and when they do it, right? And so let me ask you this, just as a thought experiment as we continue talking about this tonight. Do you think, now, as of right now, Donald Trump is still the president. He's a sitting president, all right? He's a lame duck president. In a couple of weeks, he'll be gone. Sure, fine. But do you think if they can remove a sitting president from YouTube, from Twitter, from Facebook, from all these places and all these things, do you really think you're safe? Do you really think you have a voice anywhere in the digital world we live in? If they can do it to this guy, right? And then again, like loudmouth, a bunch of unsavory tweets and the rest of this stuff, it's not hard to find something to not like about Donald Trump. It's not hard. You don't have to look that far. But he's still the sitting president, right? Just asking, right? So not about him in particular. This is about you. This is about me. This is about us. This is about this conversation we're having right now. Is this allowed? Is this even allowed anymore? And so while I always joke when we start the show that as long as this is legal, we're going to be talking about this stuff, right? I always say, yeah, it's still legal. Ha ha. Tongue in cheek, laugh, laugh. Ha ha ha. It's still legal. As far as we know right now, it's still legal. Well, does it even have to be illegal anymore? If, I don't know, let's say the brain trust of Silicon Valley decides to silence you? You don't need laws, do you? I always joke. Now here's part of why this is I laugh because there's some funny things about this and there's some terrifying things about this. You know me. I like to laugh at myself. I like to laugh about terrible things and in a deadpan way. All right, deadpan humor. But given all of this that's happening right now with Donald Trump, all right, and how they took him down from the internet. Now imagine, right? So am I a terrorist, right? Like, just ask the question. The people that have listened to this show for a very long time, the people that are new, maybe people just being exposed to me, that's fine. Like that, as this grows, that's going to happen, and it's cool. Welcome, everybody. Now, this is the thing. Am I or am I not a terrorist, right? I don't buy official narratives easily. I'm always looking for alternative explanations to things because just because of the propaganda cycle, right? I'm suspicious of journalists and definitely is suspicious of the mainstream media, right? So, of course, if you get some bogus stuff from them, what do you do, right? You talk about it, right? I mean, is it still legal to talk about these things? So given that I do, and we do, because this is live and we'd like to include you, there's the phone number I'll put up right now, in case anybody wants to call and give me their thoughts on this, is without this, right, without, let's say, YouTube or without Facebook or Twitter or some of these other platforms we've been streaming on, short of this, I would have to get like a megaphone and go stand on a corner somewhere, right? And then condemn you for you know the trope. You know where I'm getting at. Condemn you for thinking those dirty thoughts you think, right? Or whatever. Like I'd have to go get a physical megaphone and go stand on a street corner somewhere. And it's Las Vegas, and before COVID, 43 million people visited, so maybe that's not a bad strategy. But 43 million a year. But you see how we have a lot of I don't know. This is problematic, right? This is definitely problematic, and this is a conversation tonight. This is we're going to get. Well, again, we'll talk about some election fraud from 1960, and then we'll also talk about history and whether we should be kind of erasing or redacting history in real time, and whether all this kind of fits in with the technocrats and you and me and these platforms we use, right? So, yeah, that's what the conversation is tonight. That's what we're doing. Just going to get slow burn. This is a long talk show. We're doing this to include you, so we'll keep doing that. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Troubledminds.org is the official website, and you can join the show that way. So we're going to continue with some of this because it actually got worse than this, all right? So not only did they ban Donald Trump from Twitter, that's just the beginning, right? So, like, whatevs, right? Whatevs, right? Whatevs, but it got worse. Like in a matter of a couple hours, the shit spun off the rails. All right, so we're gonna talk about that in just a sec as we go back to Jay from New York. All right, let's go to this phone call, and there we go. Jay from New York, you're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How you doing, buddy? What is on your mind now?
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm being a pain in your ass.
You're good, bro. You're good, bro.
The only way I can listen to your phone or your show is through a YouTube app. If I tried to do it on the iPad or anything else so I could chat, why is that so hard? It used to be really easy. I used to be able to chat on your show and everything. Is it because I'm from New York?
I have no idea, man. I don't know. Look, unfortunately, I can't fix your tech woes from here, man. I'm like 2,500 miles away.
That's not why. That's not why I'm calling you.
Okay,
really,
okay.
Because I love listening to your show, man. I think you got some great ideas, man. Ask the questions. Why isn't anybody asking this question? Why is it so hard for me when I listen to your show when I'm playing games with my kid and I put it on low up by my ear, and I can listen to the new show 7 to 9 or 7 to 8:30, whatever it is, and I can watch your show on Facebook or YouTube with no problem. But today it's sending me back to all your old shows.
That's interesting.
I can't. It's almost impossible to watch it live. I mean, how much are they really looking into all this stuff? Is my conversation right now being listened to by some NSA guy going, maybe we should go see who that guy is?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, probably not, because I'm a carpenter and I don't have any money and I'm not going to be able to do anything. I ain't got 50 pounds of fertilizer in my backyard, so I'm good.
Whoa.
But,
careful what you say, man. Careful what you say. And, okay, so you're just a carpenter, and I'm just...
the President of the United States
I know.
off of
I know.
every platform.
Yeah.
I
know.
That's odd. That's odd.
Is that odd? It's at least odd, right?
The girl that got shot in the Capitol building with Capitol Police standing behind her, they scrubbed her thing too and disenfranchised like 1,800 of her followers. Or no, 18,000. She had 22,000 and they just blocked them all.
Did they really? I didn't know that.
They can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I have cousins in Ohio that are basically unemployed right now because of COVID-19, and they're just going to the dollar store every day with their unemployment money and buying tinfoil and wrapping it around their head, you know? Because all they do is watch the internet, the stories and everything. But they watch it live while it's happening on the TikTok and the Instagram, because they can't scrub it. If you post it live, well, it's live. Somebody watched it and they have the chance to record it or screenshot it or whatever like that. And they send me these things, so I send them back all the time, WTF. And then they go to the end of the internet to find the facts, and I'm like, wow, man. It's just, this is odd.
It's odd. Well, it gets
180
more...
days. 180 days to dispose the aliens.
So they say. So as always, we'll keep an eye on that as it develops. We talked about that on the news show. But hold on, though. It's not related to this at all. Now the thing about tonight...
Well, I understand that, but we're doing all these things, and we can't call it censorship, right? Because it's not between us and the government. It's between us and the platform. So they're allowed to put on whatever they want. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to do it because they're a private entity, right? Basically.
Well, we're going to talk about that today.
Like you can say whatever you want on your... Oh, we're not allowed to talk about that anymore?
That's not what I said. I said we're going to talk about that a little bit later tonight on the show. So Section 230 of the Internet is actually what allows some of this conversation to happen. So we're going to talk about Section 230 a little bit in depth. It's part of the scope of the show tonight. But yeah, so there are statutes and laws in place to allow these conversations to happen on these platforms, right? So this is not... hang tight. We'll get into Section 230 in the second half of the show. But so that's... Yeah, I mean, there are... it's supposed to be an open thing, right? It's supposed to be an open conversation. But I think as you look and as you watch, as you see what's happening in real time today specifically, and just a couple of days ago with YouTube, like we said, that clearly that's not the case. There are narratives that are not allowed. And it's not just like bringing up, bad history, right? It's like, no, this was like 2 months ago, and you can't talk about it. It's not good. It's causing violence is what we're talking about, right? So if hundreds of hours on record. We made
fun of all the conspiracy theorists when we were kids, Oh, come on, dude, man, you're wearing a tinfoil hat. When you were kids riding around on your bicycle and stuff like that, people talked about stuff like that, They kind of made fun of them. And then you listen to them for a little while, and then now you look back at it 20, 30 years later, the guy that was listening to the ham radio at the Boy Scout camp at the top of the mountain because he could hear what was going on in China or wherever it was. Well, I mean, really, ham radio is an amazing thing. Thanks for the facts when I was trying to get back online about $1,200 to get your license and all that. Don't ever hack a station. That's a bad idea. You'll end up in jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about you should be broadcasting over the airwaves, man.
You can't do it. Oh, I see what you mean. Like I should be with a radio station talking about this stuff. I see what you mean.
Right.
Legally.
You need $1,200, dude?
No. It's not that. You misunderstand. So not only that. So once you get your license, you can't just broadcast. You have to go actually get a job or whatever, get hired with a radio station, or you can pay them directly for airtime. Tell you what, I will broadcast on a radio station for 3 hours twice a week, but it's $200 an hour as I understand it. Can you fund that for me?
No way.
Exactly. So you see, there's a way they keep these things from happening, and it's okay. That's not the goal here. Like, think about it. It's terrestrial radio, and so in many cases, they can only hear you for so many miles, right? It just depends on where you're at, and the time of day.
Well, then unless the other guy picks it up and sends it down the road. That's what happened. I live down in the Midwest, so what would happen is there would be people that were ham radio operators, and they would pick up a signal from another station, and they would broadcast, basically take the phones and electrical tape the receiver to the mouthpiece. And then you would send that signal on your signal, ham radio. It's an emergency thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I understand. I completely understand. Okay, this is completely different.
Broadcast it all the way across.
Hold on, no. Okay, hold on.
If you had enough ham radio.
Okay, hold on, though. This is not that. This is internet radio. It's completely different. We'll actually get to ham radio. We'll talk about that at some point as well on this show. Okay. Right now, that's not the topic. So, what are your thoughts back to the technocrats censoring the president? And do you think it's going to get worse from here, or do you think this is as far as they'll go?
No way, man. This is going way downhill real quick. I had unbelievable trouble listening to your show today when before it was click the Discord app, click the link, listen to the show. That's why I called you. It was hard for me to listen to your show when normally I have to touch my phone 3 times to listen to your show live. No problem. No, nothing. I can't even get it on my iPad because I wanted to listen to your show and be in the chat because I'm not signed into any of the things, the YouTube, Google, whatever, that you have to be to put a comment in the chat.
Gotcha. But you can from Discord.
It really was. It was a pain in the ass to get on your show today.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
On your show talking to you, on your show listening to you.
Right. I understand. So I don't know if that's related. I'm thinking probably not. So again, all right. So we're going to keep on moving here. Any final thoughts before we keep on trucking with this?
I think we're headed down a dark, slippery slope with telling people what they are and are not allowed to say on the internet.
I think so too.
The violence is bullshit. The violence, absolutely. Yeah, let them talk about it and then go over to their house and arrest them. Throw them in prison. There's no reason for the violence. Killing or hurting people or any of that crap. Burning stuff down. Being allowed to let your voice be heard. You talk about aliens and stuff like that. Some of the stuff we're going back to 1941. We don't know that shit. It's bullshit. How do we know? They know. They won't tell us, but that's fine. Just cut out the bullshit. You don't need to be violent about anything, whether it's burning something down or smelling poo down the wall or putting Nancy Pelosi's whatever it was on eBay. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, that's stupid.
That's going and stealing the goat from the opposing team on Leave It to Beaver. It's high school stuff, man. Toilet paper and somebody's trees because you don't like them because they kicked you off your lawn. That's
Right.
what happened there.
Right,
you know?
right. Okay. All right. Hey, do me a favor. Troubledminds.org, the official website. Just go straight to the website, press play right there on the front page, dude. It'll get you there. Okay.
It sends me automatically to YouTube.
Because it wants you to log in. It wants you to log in.
It sends me automatically to YouTube into your archives of shows that are 6 to 8 weeks old. Trust me, the whole time.
No. Hold on. Wait. No, listen.
I'm not a dumbass.
Wait, listen. Hold on, listen.
You know?
Wait, please listen. Stop, listen. On the very top, it says watch live. That's not what you want to click. Scroll down just a little bit, and right in the middle of the page, this show is streaming. Right in the middle of the page. It's huge. You can't miss it. It's the biggest thing on the website right now. Okay? Not the top one that says listen.
All right,
now.
I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now just to tell you that they're fucking with me up here in New York.
Okay.
But it's 5 times I did it.
Okay. Trust me, this is going to work. I'm going to keep on moving with the show. You're good, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Jay from New York, I appreciate the call.
All right, bye.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, so there you go. So we're talking about censorship today. We're talking about they banned Donald Trump from basically all social media. It's coming, and it's just a beginning, right? In my opinion, it's just a beginning. And where does this head from here? I think the question is, where do we head? What's up? Johnson says Twitter will be boring now, right? Right. Let's see. And Bailey says Trump is just another bad person to scare everyone with, right? And yeah, Emmanuel Goldstein is what they call him in 1984, right? I think that's the whole trick here. Okay, so let's keep on moving. So, all right, so they banned his permanent suspension of Donald Trump on Twitter, right? Now, so that's one thing. It's like, okay, so now this is the thing, right? Let's just talk numbers. Donald Trump got 75 million votes, all right? Somewhere in that neighborhood. All right? Now, many of those diehards, yes. Many of those not, yes. But whatever percentage of that's like completely outraged at this are going to bounce, right? They're going to take off of Twitter. They're going to be like, frick this, we're out of here. We're not doing this, right? We're going to go to Parlor, right? So everybody starts jumping to Parlor, right? Parlor is the Parler. That's the alternative right now. That's supposedly the conservative version of Twitter or whatever, right? Supposedly values free speech. We'll see once they start getting tons of money and tons of advertisers. We'll see how much they value free speech. But for right now, that's what they're saying. All right. So now here's the thing. Now here's the craziest part. So of course, as you would expect, right? There's a ton of that 17th letter, right? Those people. There's a ton of those folks, right? We'll just call them Aranon to be safe. There's a ton of those folks that are just outraged at this and maybe are deleting Twitter accounts, right? And maybe many have been removed, because they already cracked down on that movement. But many of them have moved over to this Parlor. Now, what happened was now check this out. This is a little bit crazy. So I've already got a Parlor account because I saw this coming. I knew it was only a matter of time, and not just before they got probably Trump. I'm a little surprised they came after him so blatantly, right? I literally expected probably the first day he was no longer president, they would just ban him off of everything. I expected that. And it probably wouldn't have been so shocking, but a little bit more shocking that they didn't even wait till he wasn't president anymore. So anyway, all right. So then this continues. This is what happened today. Let me go grab these things I posted in the Discord here real fast. One moment, please, as I grab these links. I actually hadn't planned on talking about this particularly, but I think we should. I think we really should. Okay. So with this, let's see. Let me pull these links up real fast. All right. So what happened was everybody started. There was a mass exodus to Parlor, right? Parler is the thing. All right. Now, as once the internet notices, and I just say that as a general term, right? But let's say once Google notices, once Twitter notices, once the technocrats notice, there's a mass exodus, right, of people going to from Twitter to Parlor, right? Like it's happening. Like you can trace where people go from one site to another with tracking cookies and these things. Like they see it happening. Okay, now here we go. Here's a couple really insane things that are really going down. This is even worse. Now this gets worse. Let me explain. All right. So So all the traffic, not all the traffic on the internet. Clearly, that's a ton of traffic. But like a lot of people start bouncing from Twitter and going to Parlor. Okay, and so they notice this, and so here we go. This is from disclose.tv. This is one of these Twitter accounts that I follow. Just in, Google warns Parlor it must police its app or it'll pull it from the Android Play Store. All right. So now, now this is fantastic, right? So we have people making the argument that, well, Twitter's a private company and they can do what they want, right? So if even though he is the president, you can make the argument he's inciting violence and all the rest of the shit. But watch this. Just in, Google warns Parlor it must police its app or it'll pull it from the Android Play Store. Right? So, okay, so now Google is telling this other company, hey, you need to crack down on your shit in a way that we see fit, or we're pulling you from the Android store, right? Which Androids are, how many people worldwide have Android phones? That's a shit ton of people, right? Billions of people. And the same thing with Apple, right? You say, well, at least it's not Apple. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? At least it's not Apple. All right. Here we go. Let's go to this. Actually, I'm going to link these so you guys can follow up on me, and so you can see what's going on here. This is again. These are the sources, and this is what we're talking about tonight. So again, this don't be gaslighted here. Don't get run off because we're talking in the periphery about Trump, right? Like this is not a hive of right wing scum and villainy as we've been labeled to be in the past. It's not the case here. All right, we're talking about this because it is an actual censorship issue, right? Or is it not? I guess that's the question. It's up to you. But here we go. All right, so then there's the link. All right, so just in, Google warns Parlor it must police its app or it'll pull it from the Android Play Store, right? Okay, cool. Then we have this as well. This is from Reuters. Apple threatens to remove Parlor social networking service from App Store. Now, this is what's happening. Now, this will happen today, guys. Now, the crazy part about this is, because this was just a quick snapshot while I was throwing the show together and kind of looking at this stuff, right? This was today, 4:35 p.m. Pacific. That was about, let's say, 5 hours ago, right? This other one was about, about the same time, 4:42 p.m. So both of them, the Android Play Store, Google, and both Apple threatened around the same time that Parlor needed to crack down on its speech in an acceptable manner for these two companies, or else they were going to remove them, right? Now, exactly. Now, what's up, Gregory? Said this. Parlor was removed from the Google App Store. Now, this is how quickly this developed, all right? So I had these links ready to go to talk about this show, kind of watching it as it developed, watching some of the propaganda that they were talking about on CNN and a little bit on Fox. And both of them give me a headache. I just want to punch myself in the face after watching those things. It's like, come on, man. Can we not come on, man. Can we just not talk about this shit this way? There's different ways to talk about these things. But of course, propaganda is propaganda. But yeah, so not only, as Gregory said, Parlor was removed from the Google App Store, it has also, as far as I'm aware, since been removed from the Apple App Store. So now I laugh because this is morbid. This is sick. All right. So now we have this third party company that's like, no, guys, come over here. Free speech. We it's cool. You can say what you want, and we don't really have rules regarding that, because of course they don't have huge sponsors. Like I said, imagine once they have sponsors. You think they're not going to crack down on speech over there too? Let's be real, guys. I mean, you're not going to have like play like a Tide detergent commercial, embedded in like a Nazi video. You know what I mean? Like a neo-Nazi KKK video. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. It won't happen. But for right now, in this moment, they're free speech friendly, right? They're the alternative. But wait till they get big sponsors, like I said. Wait till they get big sponsors. So anyway, here we go. So this is a little bit nuts, right? So they're removing them. So now Google and Apple, two of the largest companies in the world, and clearly they hold sway over the rest of these little guys, right? Like if you want to call Twitter a little guy, right? They could do this to Twitter too. They could both block Twitter if they wanted to, right? But of course, Twitter, plays by their rules, censors speech in the ways they want it to happen, like the Silicon Valley way. You know what I mean? The California way. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that. Come on, man, like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that. So explain this to me. Explain this to me. We have a mass exodus of Twitter to Parlor, and then Parlor is having problems because I went over there to, update the profile. I'm like, okay, here we go. We're going to have to move off of this because they're going to start cracking down on people like me that just want to talk about this without a political narrative, right? Without this or that or the other. And I like to talk about things outside of their propaganda. And they don't like that. Again, because that's a conspiracy theory, right? Once you don't buy their narrative from the left or the right, you are a conspiracy theorist. Like we always said, like we always say on this show, the enemy of the propaganda state, which is both the left and the right, let me say it again, guys, the left and the right, both of them think you're an enemy. If you want to think for yourself and build your own narrative, you're the enemy. Because they spend all this time and all this money and all the propaganda and all these talking heads building a specific narrative. Because it's all brainwash all the time. Like I said, if you check it out. If you want a real news show, guys, what real news is actually like, why don't you go check me out on Twitch? Right? There's some commentary in there and I get upset and talk about propaganda and stuff. But for the most part, we just burn through a bunch of news stories and talk about a bunch of news stories outside of the propaganda cycle. Meaning that every single story doesn't have to be used as a political cudgel to stick to your neck and make you believe this or that, right? It's simple. It's not a hard thing. It can even be fun and entertaining and engage people in the world they live in. But they don't do that. That's not the business they're in. That's not how they do this. That's not how the technocracy does this. That's not how Operation Mockingbird and the CIA and the connections there do this. Come on. Come on. If it's not left or it's not right, it's the enemy, right? And so we're going to see how quickly they crack down on not just, let's say, so they're cracking down on the right, as we see. They've been doing that for quite a while now, which, fine, whatever. There's some inflammatory rhetoric coming from there, but there's some from the other side too, right? That's part of the whole shtick here is that they ignore some, others is not ignored, and then it just becomes this question of, well, is it free speech or is it not, right? Which we're going to get to. We'll talk to that. Okay, so anyway, so they moved, so Google and Apple basically flexed their muscle on Parlor and said, Parlor, police the speech the way we find acceptable or we're removing you from the App Store. And then in the same evening, making those threats, now they've been removed, as far as I'm aware, from Android and from the Apple Store. So anyway, how does that make you guys feel? How does that make you guys feel? That two companies can bully somebody out of the market like that just for not complying to their method of censorship. How does that make you feel? I want to hear from you. We're talking about this stuff live. It is Friday night. This is the day. This is the day that technocracy dropped the glove and drew the line. Dropped the gauntlet, drew the line in the sand. I want to hear from you. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Troubledminds.org is the official website, and you can come join us there. You can come. I want to hear from you. What is this? Do you think this is a dangerous precedent? Do you think that they're only going so far just for the orange man, and then they'll just back it up after that? Or do you think there's some other larger implications for little guys like us, like me, like you, in this show? This is your show. You can be on this show anytime you want. I've always thrown that out there. If you want to be co-hosts on this show for here and there, you let me know. Get your ass on here and let's talk about this stuff. You got me to prop you up and make sure if you're shy, I'll make sure there's no dead air. I can fill the air with a bunch of bullshit. You'll see. You've been seeing. So it's, you know what I mean? It's no problem. It's okay. Yeah, we need an outlet here. But now, for the little guys like us, like this community, like these conversations that try and happen outside of these political spheres, what does it mean for us? How quickly do you think they'll crack down on speech like this? That's what we're talking about tonight. So there's more that we'll talk about as we go. I want to hear from you one more time, 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Join the Discord, please. You can do that, and it's a persistent chat. So even if you're shy and don't want to be on the show, lots of smart people over in the Discord. And the discussion goes on 24 hours a day. People sharing links, people having discussions about other things. And As far as right now, there's no censorship on Discord, as far as I'm aware. Ours, you won't get any unless you come in and just be a straight up asshole, a belligerent asshole. Then yeah, I'll remove you. But aside from that, you can pretty much say what you want. Don't just come in and tell everybody they're wrong like an asshole. We have people that do that. Show up, oh, you're all wrong. You're all sheep. You're misled. You don't know what's going on, right? And then they're yapping and yapping and yapping. Dear God, why? Like, are you trying to have a conversation? Are you trying to preach? Check it out. If you want to preach, look at this. Look at how long I've gone uninterrupted. Start your own talk show. You can preach all you want. Oh, geez. Just don't litter the internet with that shit, please. Okay, let's go. Here we go. All right. 702-957-1037. Okay. Now, so now Apple and Google work together. They flex their muscle. They squeeze Parlor out of the conversation, meaning that now Parlor has to build their own app, okay, and serve it directly to people. So you can still get it on your Android or your Apple, but first they have to build it, right, which is a third-party app, and then you have to go through and jump an extra couple hoops to install it on your phone. So I don't know if they have their own yet, if they can just export it and then serve it that way. I don't know, but anyway, you get the point, right? You get two companies that are so large that they can just flex somebody out, right, based on speech. And is this about speech or is it not? Is this Section 230 on the internet, or is this about George Orwell type censorship? Right? Yeah. All right. So anyway, there we go. So they did. So they squeezed them out of this conversation. Parlor, go check it out. Parlor, guys. Parlor.com. I think it is Parlor.com. Just type it in. Parler into your search engine of choice, and it'll take you there. And it might be down because they probably were flooded with millions of people today, which is hilarious. Geez. Let's see. Let's read some chat. Larry says it's a military op now. EBS will be an annoying, but should pound home the reality of a society under commie lockdown. I don't know what you're talking about. Am I getting that out of context? William says they want you high on entertainment, living in their world of lies, believing the political drama, and seek protection by surrendering your freedom. Maybe right. Elizabeth says the timing was planned. Yes, this is live. What's up, Tom? I see you there. Tom, this is live. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I see you on YouTube. Or sorry, on Facebook. Todd says, I remember when there was no internet and people still got their voices out there. Oh, that's what I'm saying, right? You can go out with a bullhorn and, like on the corner here in Las Vegas and, preach at people. You can do that until you get reported to the police for a noise violation. They come arrest you, right? So, I mean, the printing press and the rest of this, this goes way back, guys. This goes way back. This is not a new conversation. There's new technology surrounding it, and there are new monopolistic players that are flexing other people out of the conversations. That's why we're talking about this stuff. Okay, let's see. Bailey says people need to move to encrypted, decentralized systems, Mastodon, Matrix, etc. Can you link some of that stuff in the chat there? I don't know. I'm not familiar with those things. I believe you, and I agree. Decentralized systems to communicate. It's really where we need to head in the future because as we've been accused, like I said, you'll have some unsavory places on the internet, but for the most part, you're not gonna you get to curate your own content in that case, right? So yeah, they have a native app, but it was removed from stores, so now you're stuck only the website, says Bailey regarding Parlor. The only way to get the app now is to jailbreak your devices. Exactly, like I said, you got to jump through some hoops to get these apps, right? It's crazy. This is crazy. Geo Magician says this, on my Android, I just have to check something to install untrusted APKs. That's what I mean. I think that's what you'll have to do, a yes or no prompt. So that's the thing. So I guess I don't know if they're serving that app directly on Parlor. Like I said, right now they've probably been flooded with a shit ton of traffic today, so they're probably not really able to keep up with what's going on because you can never expect something like this. But okay. Anyways, so I'm talking about 1984. Let's just weave this into the narrative as we go. Many of you have read 1984. We talk about it quite a lot on this show. Many of you have not. Let me play just a little clip, and we'll start talking about what 1984 is, George Orwell, and how maybe that applies today, or does not. Again, like I said, I think it does in many cases, but, it's not exact. It's not a one-for-one match to, George Orwell writing this book back in the 40s. But let's see what this is about and kind of do a rough outline of this story and some of the parallels to right now and if this is real or not. So here we go. I'm going to play a clip here. We're talking 1984, guys. We're talking about censorship. We're talking about technology, the technocracy. We're talking about all this stuff. And we do it live. It's Friday night. It is January 9th, I believe, whatever that second week of January, that Friday. Yeah, that day. I don't even know what day it is. Hold on. I'm going to get the day. I'm going to figure out what damn day it is, guys. It is the 8th. Look at that. That was a day off. January 8th. So yesterday, Google did this. Today, Apple and Google flexed Parlor out of the equation as they banned Donald Trump from Twitter in the same day. Here we go. Part 1. This is 1984. We're going to continue talking about this. We've got a ton more information. Hang tight. Part 1 action.
In the 1940s, George Orwell published a novel that illustrated a dystopian future. Well, future at the time. In the year 1984, the world has taken an unrecognizable shape. All remnants of what used to be, now destroyed, as the 20th century took a horrendous turn. Orwell imagined a world where totalitarianism reigned, individualism was dead, and reality and history was simply a matter of opinion. Of course, this never happened, as it was just fiction. But the novel 1984 has resurged in popular culture because many have made connections between this dark society and our own. Orwell never saw the rise of the internet or the policies of the 21st century, but his novel has been treated by some as almost a foreshadowing. Constant surveillance of every citizen by INSAC, constant surveillance by every government against its own citizens, those sort of connections. And this has only gotten more popular as more compare this dystopian society and our own. This video isn't meant to compare our society and Orwell's. This video is simply a summary of the politics, history, and world in the scenario Orwell crafted. Unsurprisingly, this is going to have some spoilers as this video fully fleshes out the world and society of 1984. Let's start off with some history. How does the world become this? In Orwell's novel, the 20th century is one long tragedy. The potential of humanity and this great path of civilization is entirely squandered in just a few decades. Since the novel was published in 1949, it's not surprising this is where the future begins to go downhill.
Okay, so there we go. That's where this starts. Orwell writes this dystopian novel in the 40s, talking about basically the future we are in, question mark, or the future we are close to, question mark. It's definitely that the dystopian future, right? Again, from the 1940s. He had no access to the internet then because it clearly was not invented yet, and so this is all kind of speculation. This is sci-fi. This is the dark places the world could become. All right. And so it's a little bit eerie how his speculation was right on. As you see on the frame here, we've got the eyeball, right? The old school eyeball kind of watching you, always watching you. Big brother, they called it, right? But in this case, the iris is digital. Is that an accident? No, sir. Not an accident at all. So here we go. So there's part 1 of this. We'll weave this into the rest of the show, but there's a ton more to talk about here. This is not just straight into 1984 as this goes. You'll see. I've got more to talk about. Like I said, we're going to get into... so Parlor got flexed out by the two big players in the world, basically, Apple and Google, right? They got basically flexed out, and because they didn't agree with the way they did business, right? So explain to me this. Do you think Google or Apple would be cool with it if they got flexed out by a bigger fish in the pond? Because they didn't agree to abide by the standards of the bigger fish? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they'd be happy with it. All right, so here we go. Just let's just get a couple of these in so we get the story of 1984. For the people that don't know, the people that have not read it, or maybe you've read it a long time ago, or you're familiar with the movie or this type of thing, this is important, and this is I think it is relevant. I think there's a lot here that we could look at and understand and realize that these are bad roads to be going down. And today, like I said, the technocracy kind of dropped the gauntlet. They drew the line in the sand, and then they were backed up by two of the largest companies in the world, Apple and Google. So here we go. Part 2, 1984, action.
It all started after World War II and the dawn of the Cold War. The precursor division of the world already has begun to be seen. For us, in the 21st century, we know how it ends. Soviet Union falls, nuclear war never happens, etc., etc. But in Orwell's timeline, there is no decades-long tension of the Cold War between America and Russia. Instead, sometime in the early 1950s, World War III breaks out. Nuclear bombs were used on major cities around the world, including Colchester, but not London. All we know is Britain was nuked multiple times. this was probably around 1954. During the bombings, the Soviet Union invaded all of mainland Europe, as its army swept even into the Iberian Peninsula. The British Isles became the last bastion on the continent. In the aftermath of the war, the West unified, as the United States and the British Commonwealth united into a single country. The United States, Canada, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and Britain formed to create Oceania. Oceania then went on to annex Latin America. After this, history gets a little bit fuzzy. What we do know is that because of the traumatic events of the war, unrest occurred in Oceania and the Soviet Union. Sometime after 1954, Oceania fell into civil war between capitalism and a new homegrown ideology. This war, by 1984, is referred to as the Revolution. This new ideology won.
Okay, this war, this generic nondescript war, has a name. It's called the Revolution, right? And so perpetual war, a surveillance state, you can't do anything that's outside of the party, right? Ignorance is strength. Like there's these terms, right? This double think, this double speak, and you're just not allowed. It's literally illegal. If you read the beginning of 1984, at least the beginning, Winston is the hero or the anti-hero of this novel, right? And so he's sitting there, and he's got a pad of paper, and he's deciding whether he should write this or not because it's a revolutionary act. And what he's going to write down is 2 + 2 = 4, right? And that's the truth, except it's illegal to write the truth because they've been indoctrinated to believe that 2 + 2 = 5. That's the doctrine. That's the party accepted version of mathematics. Okay. And so he's sitting there literally terrified in the one little corner of his apartment where he's being watched all the time because they have what's called a telescreen, which parallels anybody? Telescreens watching you 24 hours a day. Your smart TVs, your smartphones, all of these devices, your Amazon Alexa, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. These smart devices, I don't know what they're called. I don't have them. They're not in this house. They're not going to be in this house. I'm going to lock my door with an old school twist the key and lock the door. I'm not going to have some kid with a laptop be able to open it from Bangladesh. It's not happening. We're not doing that. Okay, so with all of that said, this is where we're at. It's becoming this, right? This surveillance state, this ubiquitous surveillance state, which is very much like China. All right, we talk about China and their social credit score and the rest of that stuff on this show, and we'll get to them in a little bit. They're included in this, so we'll get to that in a sec. Part 3 of 1984. As we go, we're gonna take a quick break at about, let's say 8 minutes from now. So just to let you know, I'm going to play another clip or two, and then we'll set this up for the second half, where we're going to continue with what happened today, not just today. And what does this mean for the future? So we are live. It is January 8th, Friday. If you're listening to us on the West Coast, it is somewhere around, what time is it? It is, I don't know, sometime Friday night. January 8th, West Coast. If you're listening right now, we are live. If you want to be part of the show, love to hear what you think about this stuff. There's a lot here, like I said, a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, and that's why we do it. That's why we do the long form. I know, with a lot of the TikTok attention spans these days, people get mad because we don't get right to it, and we kind of go through some of this information. You get to hear me preach here and there. Fine, it's fine. But you can call anytime and interrupt me and get on the show. Look at this. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Troubledminds.org is the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. And get your ass on here. I want to hear what you think about this. Again, this is a for now, one of those decentralized type of information shows. All right? Not meaning that, we're like blockchain or anything and I'm some sort of robot. Just means that if you call right now, you'll get on the show and you can tell me and the world what you think. And it's an important thing in my opinion. So anyway, there you go. Bailey says, y'all heard it. Mike is anti-Bangladesh. Exactly. There you go. A right-wing hive of scum and villainy is what we've been called and accused of on this show, right? You don't ascribe to the cancel culture stuff, then you're a right-wing racist, and that's that. I said Bangladesh. A funny joke. I got you. Funny joke. I got you. Okay. So here we go. Part 3 of 1984. And we're talking about that in relation to what happened today. The technocrats, Apple and Google pressing Parlor out of the situation after YouTube YouTube threw down the gauntlet yesterday and said, no more anybody talking about election fraud, which we're going to talk about tonight. Election fraud of 1960. But as a way of history. So we'll get into that just after the break. But here we go. Part 3, we're talking about 1984, the technocrats, the all-seeing eye of the digital world we live in. And let's play Part 3, 1984 action.
And under this victory formed itself into a single party, INSAC. We'll talk about this in a sec. But first, let's discuss the rest of the world. Sometime in the 1950s and 60s, simultaneous revolutions occurred in the USSR and China. Neo-Bolshevikism united Europe and Russia into Eurasia, while China, after fighting amongst itself for a decade, finally formed into Eastasia, under the nicely named ideology called obliteration of the self. This history that you just learned is something that no citizen in Oceania would know about, which is a good way to introduce you to this dystopian world. By 1984, the world is divided between these 3 nations: Oceania, Eurasia, and Eastasia, all in a state of perpetual war over an area called the Equatorial Front. North Africa, through the Middle East, India, and Southeast Asia is constantly fought and interchanged between the 3 superpowers. We'll get back to that later. Even though the history of the early 20th century by 1984 would only be decades ago, they might as well have been thousands. The nations, history, people before INSAC are simply myths, and what exists is a society that is totalitarianism to its extreme. First, welcome to Britain, except if you're a citizen, you've never known it as Britain. You know it as Airstrip 1. For many, Britain is a distant memory. The party's grip on the mind is so powerful, what once was an unquestionable fact, like a name, is similar to a faint dream. You question if it even happened, if it was ever real at all. Then you forget about it.
Okay, which is all, of course, controlled by the state, controlled by this ubiquitous surveillance state, the full spectrum control, as it's been called, by Clyde Lewis, again, from Ground Zero Radio. If you guys don't know him, check him out. He's amazing. But that's it, right? Full spectrum control of every aspect of your life through a surveillance state, through a digital surveillance state. That's what we're talking about, okay? And so not only that, so now think about it. So they have a thing in 1984 called wrongthink, right? They have newspeak. So they're actually changing the language to be something else entirely, right? A good example from the book is you can't say that is extremely good, right? They've stripped down words like extremely because they make it so it's double plus good, right? That's directly from 1984. They've stripped the nuance out of the language so they can control the conversation. All right, so you understand what's happening here. That's exactly what we're kind of talking about today, right? Maybe not exactly, but I think there's probably a pretty good parallel. So okay, so as we do this, like I said, this is live. You want to be part of the show? I'm going to put the phone number up. We'll play part 4 of this real fast, and then we're going to get to election fraud of 1960. Because, well, you can't talk about anything else regarding election fraud. So let's see. I'm surprised we haven't been taken down in real time, to be honest, just because of my pause there between the term and 1960. But okay, here we go, because they are listening in real time, by the way. We've been taken down in real time for saying things in real time before, so just so you know. All right, so part 4 coming up. We're talking about the surveillance state. We're talking about how this is headed. Do you think Parlor should be able to operate outside of, and they can still operate, right? They've been kind of flexed out of the larger part of the market, which is like 98% of the market. When I say larger part, like 98% of the market, they just got flexed out today because they're not playing ball with Silicon Valley, right? Does that seem healthy to you? Okay, anyway. Let's read some chat, and then we'll keep on one more part from this from 1984, and then we'll get to election fraud from 1960 in just a sec. Tom says, Elizabeth says, I'm starting to stock supplies. I think that's always a good idea. Oceana, cool, says Larry. What's up? Let's see. What else do we got? Let's see. What else? Good chat, guys. Keep it coming. I appreciate that. Yeah, our phones are the beginning of AI. Robert says Ring, like the Ring doorbells. You were correct. We do the same as China. We just hide it better, says Tom. It could be. I think that could be. But I don't think we're quite China level yet. Excuse me, just yet. But it is going so fast, says Tom. Let's see. Okay, now let me put this out just so before the chat scrolls too far and I miss it. Now, Bailey pointing this out, and this is important to note. Thank you again, Bailey, thank you everybody for contributing to the show. Like I said, I learn a lot from you guys. We should learn a lot from each other. That's the entire point of this. Nobody's always right, but if we get together and we talk about this, like we talked about in the past, the wisdom of the crowd, right? We can be smarter together than the experts. So here we go. Bailey says this, talking about Mastodon and the Matrix. Okay, so not the Matrix, Matrix. So Bailey says this: Matrix is a Discord-like discussion tool, fully encrypted and decentralized, so you can host it yourself. That would be on your own computer. And you can find that at matrix.org. All right, matrix.org. There you go. And Bailey continues, Mastodon is a decentralized federated Twitter replacement, and you can find that at joinmastodon.org. Okay, MASTODON, joinmastodon.org. And these are open source and decentralized. In 2021, we can't support software that isn't anymore. And I think that's where we go, right? But of course, they don't want us talking about that, because guess what? It's how you take back control of the speech, right? So again, do you think, like I said, turn it around, and what if Parlor was able to flex out Google and Apple, right? They'd hate it. It would be the worst thing in the world. Okay, but they're cool doing it to somebody else, you see? Big fish, little fish, swimming in the water, right? So, yeah, okay, here we go. What else do we got? So thank you for that, Bailey. I did not know those things. And here we go. There's some more. There's some more interesting things here from Bailey that I need to read here as part of this, because Bailey, very smart and very tech savvy and understands these things very well. So here we go. Let's see. What else? One more thing that was important to read. Let's see. Super important. We got to add this. Okay. So Bailey says, this is an information war, and any reference material you need could be removed. So we need to keep our own copies and share it with each other now, meaning that data is already being censored in real time. Use something like Kiwix, 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 to get local offline copy of Wikipedia. We've talked about this, and I call Wikipedia the Ministry of Truth, right, from 1984, because they do. As things change in the political world and the spectrum and social society, they update their definitions of shit. There's nothing objective about Wikipedia, guys. You guys know this if you've been around for a little while. Go watch it as things change, right? They're like, oh, well, we have new scientific information that we can update this article. Yeah, okay, maybe. But then they also have new political information where they can change this to be a little bit more negative or that to be a little more positive. And that shit's happening. It's happening. So, yeah. Anyway, good stuff. Thank you, Bailey, for all that stuff. I didn't know about any of that. So, good. I'm learning stuff. Okay, here we go. Let's see. What else do we got? Mastodon.org. Oh, sorry. It's mastodon.org. 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 Okay. They both work. Okay. Anyway, there we go. What's up, James? Tonight, the old school way. All right. Yeah. All right. So we're going to take a break in just a sec. One more clip from 1984. Tonight we're talking about how Donald Trump was removed from Twitter. And again, I don't care what you think about Donald Trump. One way or the other, I don't give a damn. That's not the conversation here. The conversation is Twitter removed a sitting president from their platform, as did Facebook and YouTube and everybody else. The technocracy stepped up and did it, all right? So he may be lame duck and on the way out, a couple weeks left, whatever. But they still did it. And my point is, and why this is something we should talk about and think about, and this should be on the lips of everybody and not just, Orange Man bad, glad he's gone, right? Like, the thing that's hilarious to me about that take is how long before you're next? How long before the political spectrum moves just past you and you're willing to accept and go, and then you're next on that chopping block? You cheer it now, tomorrow, you may be the one cut out. And that goes for everything. That goes for all of these political sways, right? Whether it goes left or right or up or down, that applies to all of this. One more clip, then we're going to take a quick break, and we're talking about censorship. We're talking about Parlor and Twitter and and the rest of this stuff and how this maybe affects you and me. So here we go. Part 4. This is about half of the story, kind of into it. The synopsis of 1984, George Orwell and the dystopian future he predicted in the 40s.
This is the most prominent attribute of Oceania, the control of information to such an extent that facts are not reality, and reality can be changed simply on the whim of Big Brother and the party, INSAC. INSAC controls all. INSAC sees all. To say it changed society is an understatement. INSAC destroyed society and remade it into something where only it can thrive. Western civilization is basically dead. Now is only a civilization that exists purely for the party to rule without question. How exactly it did this, we don't know. Now when I say party, INSAC isn't a party like the Democrats, Republicans, or even Nazis. It's more like a society within a society. It has its own separate culture and rules from the majority of the population. Oceania is split between 3 main classes. The inner party, basically the secretive heads of the state, is only 2% of the population, followed by the outer party, the bureaucratic but still devoted educated people, which is 13%. And then everyone else, the proles, the uneducated, easy to manipulate simpletons who live in poverty, never knowing any better. Think of it like the ruling classes of Westeros. They have their own issues and culture, while the masses are simply the mundane peasants nobody really cares about. The inner and outer party is divided between 4 main sections. The Ministry of Peace, who wages war against Eurasia or East Asia, depending on who it is at the time.
Okay, you check that. The Ministry of Peace is the one who wages war, right? And so the entire thing is upside down. And that's the point. We talk about this all the time, right? We're expected to believe the terms they tell us and what they mean, even though they're the opposite. And that is newspeak, that is wrongthink, that is all of this stuff from 1984 tied up into what's exactly happening. And let me give you one example. There's something called the Patriot Act. You guys remember this? The Patriot Act, which expanded the surveillance state tenfold, all right? They instituted the FISA courts, and there's a ton of that they have not repealed yet. Even though we're talking about 2001, the attack on 9/11, right? That whole bit. Like, terrible, awful, should never happen again. But how much of your privacy are you willing to give up just in case that might happen again? Speaking of which, we actually had a threat not too long ago from supposedly Iran said they were going to fly some planes into the Capitol on the 6th of all times, right? That was I'll pull that article up in a sec. Anyway, let's take a quick break. Blah, blah, so on and so forth. This is live Friday night, January 8th. You want to be part of the show? You can. Just dial this phone number, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. You can find both the number and the Discord at the official website, troubledminds.org. All right? troubledminds.org. Burn it into your brain. If we end up taken down from every platform, that is our safe harbor. We can go do our own website, and the rest of them can jump off. All right? If we end up being taken down, that's where we go. That's where you find your information. If you missed this show, always streaming on that website directly, troubledminds.org. All right. There you go. There's a quick commercial, and let's take a quick break. 2-minute break. Here's some sweet music, 80s type music. I love this. I think I'm going to just use this as the break until you guys get sick of it. But here we go. Playing this. 2 minutes. Go top your drink off, stretch your legs, grab some popcorn, hit the restroom, whatever you got to do. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we will be right back. That's the wrong one. Holy shit, that's the wrong one. This one. right, welcome back to Troubled Minds Radio. You're listening to me. I'm Michael Strange, and everybody else who might want to be part of the show. We're doing this live. It's Friday night, January 8th. You can join the show, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. Say it faster than that. I dare you. All right, I just mentioned this just before we took a break. This threat, right? This is from the Drive. We talked about this on the news show, but I think it's relevant because I brought it up, so I want to link it so you guys don't think I'm making shit up. But ominous Iran-related threat to fly plane into Capitol broadcast to air traffic controllers. All right. So, like I said, I like to source the claims I make, at least so you can see where I got these ideas from. And this is a real thing. So we did talk about this on the news show. Like I said, if you like this conversation, there's a lot going on, and we had to break off the news from this because it became just too convoluted, and there was just too damn much to talk about on a daily basis, right? So, for instance, let's just play this clip so you can see I'm not insane. This is an audio obtained by CBS News, and again, this is the Drive.com, the war zone that related this actual thing. So let's play this, and you'll see it's real short, but there was an actual threat broadcast to air traffic controllers on January 6th. Now, this is the crazy part, right, about that, so that everybody knew this was coming, right, except for somehow the Capitol Police, right? Something up. No fencing, right? Something up. Everybody saw the mob coming up the stairs against the one dude. He had a stick. He's waving a stick. One guy. What? Anyway, but they knew this was a threat on January 5th. Check this out.
The chilling threat, obtained exclusively by CBS News, was heard by multiple air traffic controllers on Monday afternoon in New York.
We are flying a plane into the Capitol Wednesday. Soleimani will be avenged.
Sources tell CBS News the Pentagon and other agencies were briefed today about the digitized voice recording and believe it was designed to suggest hitting the Capitol on the same day Congress is set to count the Electoral College.
All right. You see that? I'm not making this shit up. Now, again, like this is not the purview of this show, really, but conspiracy is. So we're getting, quote, threats from Iran to fly a plane into the Capitol building the day they're counting the electoral votes all over social media. I knew it was going to happen. I woke up and turned on the news because I was like, shit, is this really going down? And it was happening. I was like, holy shit, this is happening. And then we all knew it. Everybody knew it except the Capitol Police and the National Guard and the frickin' armed forces. And how come they didn't mobilize to stop this when they knew this was happening? They knew it was a possibility of happening. Anyway, just food for thought. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to point that out just because I mentioned it. So there's the link, and I didn't make that shit up. That shit is real. Okay, so here we go. Now, we talked about Apple and Google flexing out Parlor, right? In which the mass exodus from Twitter, tons of diehard loyal Trump folks. And let me tell you guys, contrary to what they're trying to tell you, everybody who voted for Trump out there, think about it, 75 million people. They're not all QAnoners. RAnoners. They're not, right? They're just not. They want you to believe that. It's the unpersoning, right? It's it's the way they wage these wars, these information wars, is they want you to hate your neighbor. They want you to hate whoever it is that is not part of their political structure, right? And they do that by dividing. You see? Yeah. This is a game that is a dangerous game, and yeah. Let's see. What else? What do we got? Thank you for linking the website there, Christopher. Appreciate it. Let's see. Christopher says, I was born in 1984. Well, shit. Maybe you're that guy. Let's see. Benjamin says, I think Facebook is going to get fined for blocking people's Facebook account, but don't have info on that currently since I can't scan my early in the daytime. My man, Mike. Yeah. Well, I mean, what can you do? Benjamin says, New World Order is coming. No. So yeah, that Iran threat was the day before. That was January 5th. They broadcast that. So that's when that happened. Broadcast to air traffic controllers, suggesting that on the same day that they were storming the Capitol there, they were going to fly a plane into the Capitol building. You see what I'm saying? What I'm telling you guys is that it was widely known by so many people. So who knows who broadcast that? I say, quote, Iran, right? and they said Soleimani will be avenged, right? Well, of course, right? Like who does that? You know what I mean? Like, we're about to do something really terrible to you, and here's who we are. Who does that? You know what I mean? Come on. Like, I'm no dummy. You're no dummy. So clearly that could have been somebody else, right? But it was still the same exact day all this other shit went down. So just FYI, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in this world that nobody talks about. Did you hear that before you heard it from me? Probably not. Probably not. All right, here we go. Let's continue with this. Parlor flexed out by Apple and Google. Now, let's see. Here we go. This is from Forbes. Forbes.com, right? Part of the technocrats. Forbes. Part of the weirdness. Part of the political weirdness, right? They're part of this dystopian society. What's up, OG Todd? What's up, buddy? Just like I expect, Todd comes in because it's bullshit. What's up, buddy? That's perfect OG Todd style. All right, now look. Now this is the crazy part. Now this is from Forbes, who again part of the this is in 2019. All right, as Orwell's 1984 turns 70, it predicted much of today's surveillance society. All right, now we'll play some more of this as we go, and then we'll make some connections here, if there are connections to be made. But let's just read part of this. George Orwell's famous novel 1984 turns 70 years old next month. This was in 2019. Looking back on its predictions and the state of the world today, how much did it get right in its predictions of a dystopian surveillance state where every word is monitored, unacceptable speech is deleted, history is rewritten and deleted altogether, and individuals can become unpersons for holding views disliked by those in power? It turns out Orwell's predictions were frighteningly accurate. Straight from Forbes. I linked it. You guys can follow along if you like. In 1984, it was the state that determined what constituted acceptable speech in keeping society orderly. In 2019, it is a small cadre of private companies in Silicon Valley and their executives that wield absolute power over what we are permitted to see and say online. In 2019, they said this. And it was only a matter of time before they stepped up and flexed that muscle and made us aware of it, right? There's no doubt. Today, they did it. Today, like again, so, like I said, hate Donald Trump all you want, fine. No, I don't have any problem with that. But when he became president, the thing that I appreciate the most about it is that we got to see the deep state show itself. We got to see the media prove who they really are. We got to see the technocrats and the small cadre of private companies in Silicon Valley and their executives wield absolute power over what we are permitted to see and say online. And if you don't think there's a connection to what that statement is, and today, I don't know what you're watching. I don't know who you're talking to. I just don't know. Actually, matter of fact, I want to know. If you disagree, or it's fine. Like I said, I hold the premise dear. We can disagree and we can still be friends. All right. Many people have disagreed with me and we're still okay. It's fine. It's not that kind of show. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. All right, let's continue. In 1984, there were just a few countries to which most of the world's citizens belonged, right? A globalist state, basically, right? So in 1984, it was a state that conducted surveillance and censored speech. Huh, interesting. I wonder how connected Facebook and Google and Apple are to, let's say the CIA and Operation Mockingbird. Look it up if you don't know what that is. We've talked about it a lot. In 2019, social media companies deploy vast armies of human and algorithmic moderators that surveil their users 24/7, flagging those that commit thought crimes and deleting their violations from existence. Those that commit too many thought crimes are banished to unperson status by these same private companies without any intervention or even in contradiction with the will of the state and without any right to appeal. No right to... Right there. This is written by Forbes. By this individual from Forbes. An individual named Kalev Litaru, right? He writes about AI and big data. I write about the broad intersection of data and society. Seems like the right guy to be writing about this. All right? You heard what I just said there. Social media companies deploy vast armies of human and algorithmic moderators that surveil their users 24/7, flagging those that commit thought crimes and deleting their violations from existence. All right? Straight here, a little bit more. In 1984, those who committed particularly egregious thought crimes or had histories of them were banished into non-existence. All traces of them deleted. Speaking of which, did I say we're going to talk about election fraud tonight from 1960? Right, we definitely are. We're going to get to that in just a sec. Just want to let you know. So if that was the case, let's say, so the 1960 election, just to make the connection here, it was what it was, right? Like, it was widely considered to be a dirty election. JFK beat, we'll get to that. I'll read some of this. But JFK beat, what's his name? Nixon. And it was widely considered to be a stolen election from election fraud, all right? In 1960, right? In 1960, right? For the people out there taking note of every word I'm saying. In 1960. All right. But if we erased it then and erased it from the memory books, we couldn't actually equate the present to the past, could we? Right. So if this was actually gone and let's say YouTube existed in 1960 and people were making videos about this. All right. And it just got wiped. Right. Let's say Wikipedia existed. It got redacted in real time. They edited all the things that you could find to, threw it down the memory hole. Then you can't make a connection to the past, can you? You just can't, can you? It's gone. It's literally gone. So, okay, I just wonder how healthy this is to silence a conversation based on a particular topic, right? So anyway, 1960, guys, 1960. Everybody relax. The people itching to report me. 1960. We're talking about the past here. All right. So this continues. In 2019, this is from Forbes, governments quietly rewrite press releases to remove past statements that proved wrong or to add statements to support their present assertions. Meanwhile, the European Union's right to be forgotten grants ordinary citizens the ability to wipe clean society's memories of their past, allowing them to be reborn without the burden of their past transgressions. Yeah, is any of this making sense? Does any of this ring a bell? Does any of this sound familiar? Okay, a little bit more. In 1984, the book, Ever-Present Telescreens act as both information conveyor and surveillance device and saturate both public and private spaces with cameras and microphones monitored by the government. Yeah, there's more here. If you want to read it, I linked it. You guys can check it out. I encourage you to read this stuff. Check out what I'm saying. Don't take it as fact. I could have faked this entire website and just fooled you. If you never check, guess what? I fooled you. That's not the case. I'm never going to try and fool you. All right? I'm talking about what I believe from my heart, and that's just what it is. And I hope that it resonates. I'm not trying to fool anybody here, and I don't have the answers. I have concerns and I have questions, and that's what this show's about. Do check this out, written Forbes.com. This is in 2019. And we see it now as the technocrats flex their collective muscle. It happened today. It happened today, did it not? It happened today. Like I said, I think the last 4 years have been pretty enlightening because we get to see what the press is, what the technocracy means, what a surveillance state entails, how much of it you really are a participant in. And yeah, crazy. It's crazy. This is crazy stuff. This is crazy stuff. All right, let's see. We got some. What's up? I see you. I see there, Ark, on Discord. Thanks for showing up tonight. Let's see. Chicago, what's up? How much did I miss? You missed a ton, bro. But you're in the right place because we're going to get to election fraud in a little bit. Election fraud from 1960. All right. So as we continue, so again, this is right. Does this seem legit or does this seem a bunch of bogus? All right. So anyway, let's get to it because if I don't, then they're going to think I'm making like actually making some shit up here, and I this is not the case. This is not the case. Here we go. This is from Politico.com, right? A sanctioned a sanctioned member of the technocracy, of the technocrats, of Silicon Valley, of the political narratives. So again, let's go back to 1960. On this day in 1960, this is from actually November 8th, 2018. This was written, so November-ish, you know. On this day in 1960, Senator John F. Kennedy, a Massachusetts Democrat, defeated Vice President Richard M. Nixon in one of the closest presidential elections in U.S. history. All right? You reading this? Are we reading this? All right. Kennedy won 49.7% of the popular vote to Nixon's 49.5%. Out of more than 68 million votes cast, Kennedy captured only 112,827 more votes than Nixon. The Electoral College awarded the election to Kennedy 303 to 219, the closest outcome since 1916. Kennedy carried 22 states, while Nixon claimed 26. Catch that? Kennedy carried 22 states, and Nixon claimed 26. Kennedy's razor-thin victories in Illinois and Texas made the difference. His running mate, Senator Lyndon B. Johnson, the majority leader, was a Texan. The electoral tally was further complicated by the presence of several unpledged electors from the Deep South. 14 unpledged electors from Mississippi and Alabama cast their votes for a hypothetical presidential ticket composed of Senators Harry F. Byrd and Strom Thurmond, while a faithless elector from Oklahoma cast his ballot for Byrd and Goldwater, Senator Barry Goldwater. All right, so you see what I'm saying, right? They would have us believe that all this shenanigans this past year is something new, right? They would have us forget the past, and this is the past. And this is what I'm saying. If you take the 1984 surveillance state and the memory hole of throwing things away and expecting our attention span to be 24 hours like the news cycle, we forget these things. None of this is new. Like all this stuff with the Pence and the counting of the votes and the faithless electors, this shit is not new, guys. That is not new. Everybody remember the Florida thing with W. Bush and all that shit, right? The hanging chads and all that shit. This is not new. Go look this shit up if you have no idea what I'm talking about. This shit is real, and this has been going on for a very long time. This continues. Hold on. This is the first election in which both the Democrat and the Republican nominee were born in the 20th century. This also remains the sole presidential election in which neither major candidate succeeded in carrying every single county or parish in any one state. Furthermore, it was the first election in which the winning candidate received most of the electoral votes, while the losing candidate carried most of the states. Check that. Like I said, this happened again in 1976. Anyway, closely contested elections. This one is largely considered to be dirty. Here we go. Actually, wait, that's a thought crime. Let's not go there yet. Let's not go to thought crimes just quite yet. Let's see. Hold on. All right. We're doing this live. If you guys want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. And we'll take your phone call. If you want to be part of it and without the long distance, if you're international or whatever, we also have an open Discord. You can join the Discord by going to troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and we'll put you on this show. As simple as that. You can talk to me. My name is Mike, and I will be nice to you, and I want to hear what you have to think. You can disagree with me. It's cool. It's all good. Like I said, we can disagree and still be friends. Okay, let's go. Let's go with this. Now, look, this is crazy. This is crazy. Now, you say I'm nuts, right? It says, but Mike, you say, it was a dirty election. That just says it was close, right? No. No, that's what that one said. Look at this one. The Chicago Sun-Times. This week in history. JFK and the stolen election. We're talking about election fraud, guys, from 1960. All right. In 1960, some irregularities in Illinois votes, specifically the ones in Chicago, prompted calls for an investigation from Republicans over the Senator JFK's victory. Everybody knows JFK. Probably one of the most famous presidents ever. Had a really terrible end. All right. The saga, this article continues, played out in the pages of the Chicago Daily News. 1960, guys. Let me just read a little bit of this and then we'll continue. Because if I don't add this and I say the words election fraud and I don't say 1960, we might get banned. All right? You see what's going on here? All right. The Electoral College solidified former Vice President Joe Biden. Wait, I'm not talking about that. Why has this got to start there? But in 1960, some irregularities in Illinois votes, specifically the ones in Chicago, prompted calls for an investigation from Republicans over then Senator John F. Kennedy's victory. The saga played out in the pages of the Chicago Daily News. Quote, fewer than 100,000 votes out of a total of 69 million cast in the November 8 election may decide whether Vice President Nixon or Senator Kennedy is to be our next president. William Harrison Fettridge, a chairman of the Nixon Recount Committee of Illinois, told the Daily News on December 5th, 1960. Fettridge name-dropped Chicago as one of the cities, quote, where entrenched political machines control the election machinery. I'll say that again. Quote, where entrenched political machines control the election machinery. Unquote. End quote. Alleging voter fraud in 1960. I got to add. Voter fraud in 1960. A lawsuit later filed accused Cook County of digging up Kennedy voters from the cemeteries of Chicago. All right. Several weeks later, on December 19, 1960, the Electoral College met to cement Kennedy's win, 300 electoral votes to Nixon's 223, though that wasn't the final total. Anyway, you get the point, right? Like, I want you guys to know, this shit is not new. All of these things that they're trying to tell us are brand new. It's unprecedented. This has never happened before. No bullshit. This shit happens all the fucking time in different jurisdictions the country over and probably the world over. I don't follow the world elections close enough, but I'm telling you what. Election fraud. 1960. 1960. Do I have to say it again just to make sure whoever's taking notes? 1960. All right, just making sure. Just making sure. Making sure we're on the same page here, technocrats that might be transcribing every word, because I know you are. Anyway, okay, so you get the point, right? As we stated in the beginning of the show, you're no longer allowed to talk about election fraud that changed an election, except maybe from 1960, which is what we're talking about tonight, and some other things. And the way the technocracy has grabbed the bull by the horns, meaning the narratives, and they haven't allowed us to really have a discussion regarding, I don't know, some things. Some things. What do you think we can't talk about? I'm just going to throw it out there. Well, we're talking about JFK and Nixon in 1960, but I don't know. So let's go back to let's say YouTube was around then and Wikipedia, and they rewrote it all and redacted it, and you couldn't even talk about this. Then how would we know? How would we know none of this was new? How would we know? Huh? We wouldn't, would we? We would think everything they told us, the press and the government, and the things that have been changed and redacted, and in real time on Wikipedia, that it was all new, right? Then when you saw Wolf Blitzer wave his arms on CNN and say, "This is unprecedented," we would have to take it for fact, wouldn't we? Because we wouldn't be able to go back and look at this stuff. Now, how much does that mirror what we've talked about regarding 1984, regarding George Orwell and a surveillance state so ubiquitous that you can't even think the wrong things, or else it becomes a crime? A thought crime. I'll link this from the Ministry of Truth, as I like to call them, Wikipedia, also known as. This is what a thought crime is, based on the current official narrative, which I'm sure this one is much to their chagrin. They don't want us to talk about this at all, do they? I don't think so. What's up, Alex? Echo Foxtrot, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for showing up. David says, I'd rather set my balls on fire and roast marshmallows on the way to hell than let this happen without a fight. Okay, you mean a political fight, right? Clearly, obviously, because you can't, fighting. Fighting is a bad term, bro. Fighting. Political fights. Call your senators, call your representatives. This is not a violent show. Please don't misunderstand what the word fight means from somebody in the chat that I just read their thing. I'm not saying that at all. Please. Technocrats, please. Holy shit. All right, here we go. What's up? I see you there, Penny. Thanks for showing up. This is the thing, right? This is the thing. Thought crime is this, and this is from 1984. Thought crime is a word coined by George Orwell in his 1949 dystopian novel, 1984. It describes a person's politically unorthodox thoughts. such as unspoken beliefs and doubts that contradict the tenets of Ingsoc, which is English socialism, and that's the only party, the dominant ideology of Oceania, which we just talked about. We're going to play some more clips from 1984 and round that out in a sec. In the official language of Newspeak, the word crime think describes intellectual actions of a person who entertains and holds politically unacceptable thoughts. Thus, the government of the party controls the speech, the actions, and the thoughts of the citizens of Oceania. In contemporary English usage, the word thought crime describes beliefs that are contrary to accepted norms of society and is used to describe theological concepts such as disbelief and idolatry and the rejection of an ideology. Weird, right? Weird. This is so weird. This isn't real, right? This isn't real. As Google and Facebook and the big guys, Apple, they all flex out like a little startup that's trying to allow a particular angle of speech that is unacceptable. Is that what's going on right now? I think it is. I think it is. I want to hear from you. We got some more to get to tonight. We still got all kinds of shit. We got all kinds of shit to talk about, as always. 702-957-1037. Are you terrified yet? Does this scare the piss out of you, knowing that they've stood up, they've made themselves known, and they've said emphatically, thought crimes exist. And if you go afoul of our, what would you call it, ideology, you will be erased. You will be unpersoned, and any platform that accepts you as refuge to your dirty, unsavory thinking will also be erased and canceled. Are you terrified yet? I want to hear from you. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. Is this too much? Am I over the line in pointing out some similarities between a fictional account from 1940 and the current day? Is that no longer allowed? Is that illegal? Are we speaking in vulgar terms? Is this a thought crime? As I laugh here as a random on the internet, is this a thought crime? A random on the internet with a microphone, right? Yeah. Oh boy. All right, so we got some more to talk about. We're going to get to some other stuff. We're going to get to Jack Ma from China. We're going to get to the social credit score in brief. We're going to get to some other things. There's lots of things to talk about here. There's lots of things to talk about. So waiting for you. As always, we do this live to include you. Let's see. So I've got some good chat here. Let's see. Lots of good chat talking about the riots or the peaceful protests or however you want to frame it. Let's see. Okay, I'm not going to read any of that stuff. Let's not catch ourselves in the wrong think episode here. Okay, so all of that. Let's continue moving, shall we? So again, I'm going to put up the phone number as I pull up this link here, and we're going to continue talking. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. All right, let's go. Now we just talked about election fraud from 1960 with Kennedy and Nixon, all right? And again, how it's important to note that election fraud or election fraud in 1960, I have to clarify. You got to be very careful now, right? Some things you can't say and you can't think, all right? So, from 1960, all right? You got that. The people taking notes, the people putting every single word I say into a categorical database. Election fraud from 1960. All right. A couple more here, articles to talk about just real fast. This is HellenScope.com. Voter fraud is nothing new. The 1960 election of JFK. And here's more, right? I'm not going to read a bunch of this because we already talked about this, the important parts, but this is history, guys. This is history. None of this is new. Faithless electors, electoral college, people wanting to repeal the electoral college because of the popular vote not coinciding, or in this case, Nixon winning more states than JFK, and JFK still becoming president. Right? There's some weird shit. This is nothing new. Nothing new. All right, just pointing it out. Let's see. What else do we got? Here's another one. Chicago Sun-Times. We talked about that. Let's talk about this. let's talk about throwing things down the memory hole, right? Which is kind of a theme of this show tonight, 1984 in the memory hole. What the hell? Really? You got to do this ugly pop-up right in the middle of my shit here. Okay, let's see. I'm linking this, and you guys can follow along here as we often do. And I'm going to read just a little bit of this, talking about the memory hole. Now, a memory hole is this. All right, this is from brightworkresearch.com. Okay, no, all right, they just blocked me out. All right. Well, the good news is, hold on, let's see. There's a thought crime. We've got Wikipedia, right? Let's go to Wikipedia, which is basically the Ministry of Truth. Here we go. From Wikipedia. The other one blocked me out and said you have to pay me $5 to read the article. So anyway, I got blocked out. It was much better, but paywalls, etc. They do hard work. I understand. Here we go. Memory hole. Wikipedia. A memory hole is any mechanism for the deliberate alteration or disappearance of inconvenient or embarrassing documents, photographs, transcripts, or other records, such as from a website or other archive, particularly as part of an attempt to give the impression that something never happened. The concept was first popularized by George Orwell's 1949 dystopian novel, 1984, where the party's Ministry of Truth systematically recreated all potentially embarrassing historical documents, in effect, rewriting all of history to match the often changing state propaganda. These changes were complete and undetectable. And now, hold on just one moment. I'm going to take a quick little capture of this real fast because I want to make sure that it doesn't actually change. It doesn't actually change. Here we go. Dropping this in the that section. So there we go. We have a alternate view of this right there in the politics section. Yeah. So there it is, right? Todd says, nothing weird about people crying when their candidate loses insane fraud. Yeah, totally true. Totally true. I expect you to be a killjoy every single time. Thanks, Todd. You're the best. All right. OG Todd showing up saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. What's up, Todd? What if you're wrong, Todd? I'm not even talking about that election. Here we go. AmericanThinker.com. Here we go. George Orwell wrote his prophetic masterpiece, 1984, barely 3 years after Europe was liberated. Okay, we're not going to do that. We've got some clips. I'm going to play some clips. Let's finish this out on the clips. Looking for calls from you guys. Todd, if you have some hot takes and you want to tell me, or anybody else, you're very welcome on the show. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org and get in here, and you can tell me what you think about this stuff. Let's finish this. Instead of reading that stuff about 1984, let's hear the final recap, the last half of this 1984 stuff, and let's play it. Part 5, action.
The Ministry of Truth rewrites or destroys any evidence of this not being the case. Those in the party who openly question this simply disappear or are sent to the Ministry of Love for re-education, continue in mass until, for the most part, it's a fact amongst the population that the party did invent the airplane. This is a process. How Orwell describes this is that simply through the progression of decades, INSOC was able to normalize attributes that haven't existed in the West for centuries. Class divide, uneducation, mass atrocities, censorship. These are allowed to be commonplace because anyone who didn't agree with it is either too unimportant or dead to care. Then solidify this base with youthful and nationalistic young adults, and you've got a healthy future for your ideology. INSOC's ideology runs so deep, children are more likely to openly report their own parents for thought crimes. INSOC recreated culture, crafted new terms to allow only it to exist. A thought crime is anything that goes against the policy of the party. If you commit a thought crime, you can be vaporized by the thought police. Simply disappear. And when I mean disappear, I mean it is now a fact that you are never a person, an unperson. This isn't like kids giving Jimmy the silent treatment. This is everyone simply forgetting there ever was a Jimmy, and forgetting that they forgot.
Forgetting that they forgot. there was ever a Jimmy. You see, this is next level stuff, guys. This is next level stuff. This is in 1984 and control, full spectrum control, right, of every point of metadata that flows through your digital life, which is now becoming entangled to every part of your actual physical life. And if you want a good example of that, let's go to China. Let's talk about their social credit score. Just as an example, real fast. Now, as we know, once the surveillance state becomes so ubiquitous that you have to check in with the state every time you do anything, that I think it's important to note that China's already got that going on. If you go afoul of their social credit score, every single thing is stuck to a Instagram type application, right? That's tied to you, facial recognition, your whatever your unique identifying number is, a social security here in the States. I don't know what it is elsewhere, what they call it over there, your resident number, whatever that is. It's all tied into that, right? And so you can't, if you do bad things that are not even illegal necessarily, but are socially unacceptable, you are, what would you say? You are actually a target of this program. And so they limit some of the things you have access to. And that could mean maybe getting into a particular college. That could be maybe going to school at all, maybe get kicked out of school. That could mean maybe traveling, airplane travel, or traveling on a train, like these types of things, right? Like they can start trimming out privileges of your life based on what you do or don't do, which may or may not even be illegal, and probably in many cases isn't, because when you have a full spectrum control like this, if you're doing illegal shit, they'll just come get you. They'll just come pick you up, put you in the camp with the Uyghur Muslims, right? Like that's what they'll do. I mean, not specifically, but right? Like that's the shit that's going on in China. Now, the interesting part, and the reason I bring up China, what's up, Justin? I see you over there, Chicago, on YouTube. Thanks for being here, guys. Let's see, who else am I missing? Make sure I say hi to everybody. Let's see, what else do we got? Let's see. This is real conspiracy theory. What's up, Christopher? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, okay. Now look, China. Now this is the weird part. No, well, just let me explain this real fast. So here in the United States, all right, we have what's known as capitalism, right? But it's not really true capitalism. It's more like crony capitalism. Because the huge technocrats are allowed to grow so big, they have monopolies on not just companies here, companies the world over. Companies like Google, companies like Facebook, Twitter, companies like this, right? And so they grow so big that they have a monopoly status the world over. What makes you think they're not so big they don't run this country, right? Is it possible for a company to get so large that they're really out of the purview of actual, let's say, antitrust suits or things like this? Is it possible? And if it is, are we there? And who are those folks? Who are those companies? Kind of want to know. What do you think? And the reason I bring it up, as on news today that Apple and Google have shouldered out another part of the technocrat that has the technocracy that has wrongthink. Here's some more memory hole status here. I'm going to drop this in the chat, and you guys can check this out. But hold on. Now, China. Now this is the craziest part, right? I can't believe I'm going to say something nice about China, but I'm about to. We talk about China all the time in a negative fashion, right? But hold on. They have not allowed this to happen. This to happen right here. There's an individual named Jack Ma. Have you guys heard of this guy? Jack Ma, M-A, Jack Ma. Here we go. Now let me explain why I'm bringing this up right now and talking about the technocracy and why companies become so large that they are basically untouchable by the government itself because of the funding, because of their ties to intelligence, the intelligence organizations, and the rest of this. Now check this out. Jack Ma, all right, he's the richest dude in China. All right, he's basically, let's say we got Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, right? They're both 1 and 2 right now, and the richest dude in the world, right? So Jack Ma is China's version of that. All right, okay. So he owns Alibaba and this other company. Let me just read a little bit of this so we know where we're at. Jack Ma is a Chinese business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. He is a co-founder and a former executive chairman of Alibaba Group, a multinational technology conglomerate. Ma is a strong proponent of an open and market-driven economy. All right, so he wants an open economy, right? He doesn't want this crony capitalism or these Chinese CCP stuffs that they do. He's for, like the open competition bit, right? Which makes him not a popular fellow in China. Well, what happened to Jack Ma recently? Does anybody know? If you've been watching the news show that we do on Twitch, then you know exactly what happened to Jack Ma in China. Let me tell you. I'll tell you right now. Now, this is the crazy part, right? So, Jack Ma hasn't been seen for months. That's reason enough to be wary of Alibaba stock. Now, he disappeared. This dude straight up vanished. And you know why? Because he criticized the way China and the CCP does business with their banks. He called their banks pawn shops and said they do business the same way, meaning that if you don't have assets to back up what you're doing, they are crippled by that take on the way it goes. And yes, Jack Ma has disappeared. Jack Ma's disappeared. He criticized. So he's the largest, the richest person in China. All right, owns the biggest companies in China, and he straight up disappeared. All right, people, again, according to this is from January 8th, 2021, updated. Jack Ma hasn't been seen for months. I heard weeks. Last I reported a couple days ago from another source, it was weeks. All right, but check this out. Now the reason he's been attacked in China, and I say that in a political way. Let's see. He actually again criticized the Chinese way of doing business. All right, let's see. Blah blah. So this is a stocks article. So it doesn't. Never mind. None of this really matters. This in particular, this article doesn't matter. The headline is all that matters. Jack Ma hasn't been seen for months, right? So we don't know. So basically, he accused China and the way their banking system is of being regressive. Okay, he basically akined it to pawn shops. Like I said, this is from other articles. I'll have that stuff and I'll link it. It's all on the news show if you guys want to check that out. I'm not making this shit up. And then he disappeared. China came after his companies for antitrust. They restructured his other company because it was just becoming too large. And so the question here is, should an individual, a CEO of a particular company, become too large, so large that they're kind of above the law, that they challenge the actual state and their own power, right? And again, I'm not a Nazi here. Like everybody, there's people out there that want to call me that, but I'm not that. But I asked the question, should we allow Google and Apple to flex their muscles and just smash conversation based on how big they are? Just a question. Just curious. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that because I don't have any answers here. I'm just asking questions. But China doesn't think so because Jack Ma got too big for China. And what did they do? And I don't... Now listen. Now let me get this right. Let me make sure I state this specifically for those who might be listening to every word I say and taking notes. I do not believe going after this man is the right move. All right? I don't. He's in hiding, at least. He might be missing, might be kidnapped. Who knows? But going after this man is the wrong move. Maybe restructuring his companies so they're not bigger than the country maybe isn't terrible. It's called antitrust, and there's a reason for it. And there's an entire department in the U.S. government that's supposed to be watching these things and not allowing companies to become so big. Remember Hillary Clinton? No executive too big to jail. She ran on that shit. Remember that? No banker, no bank too big to fail, no executive too big to jail. And yet, here we are. China doesn't think so. China went after this guy, and who knows what happened to him. I hope he's alive. I hope he's okay. I'm thinking, my guess is he smuggled out of the country because he knew what was coming. You know, like you don't get to be that rich being a dummy. So maybe he saw the writing on the wall. Anyway, just pointing it out, right? Just pointing it out. Like I said, I don't want to say a good thing about China in that regard. You shouldn't go after people like that if they're really coming after him. But what do you think? What do you guys think about this? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Troubledminds.org is the official website. You tell me. What does this mean? Right? Now, China has a company that grows too large, questions the way they do business, and they come after him with draconian tactics with the brown shirts. Right? They're after this guy. Right? At least that's what it looks like. That's presumably what's happening here. Here in the States, you say or think the wrong thing, and you're banished to the street corner with a megaphone because you go outside the political narratives with your wrong think and your dirty, dirty, unsavory thought crimes. See what's going on here? That's something going on here. Geez, this is ridiculous. Let's see. What else do we got? Hold on. Let's see. Reading some chat. Looking here from you guys. 702-957-1037. We got more to get to, of course, as we usually do, but we got some more clips to play from 1984. So we'll do that in just a sec. But yeah, Robert says, oh, hell no. Yeah, hell no. Yeah, exactly. William says he is either in jail or they took him out, right? Or it's possible, like I said, he was smuggled out of the country or he's laying low. I think some articles actually. Let me look at this one. This was updated. I didn't see. Let's see. Here we go. Quote: he may have been grabbed by the party, and he may be in a dark room right now. The head of a China research group told me this past week. Dear God, he was talking about Alibaba founder Jack Ma, the richest man in China, who hasn't been seen in weeks. There you go. Right there. There you go. Right there. Not making it up. It's right there. Right there. He may have been grabbed by the party, and he may be in a dark room right now. The head of a China research group told me this past week. Right there on the top of the article. Yeah. Yeah. Like, this is the shit that's going on. And again, I do not condone this. All right. I want to make sure you understand. I'm saying that China does not take well when a company becomes too big because, they'll come after you. They'll come after you. All right. So with all that said, like I'm talking about tonight, the technocrats, right? I'm talking about the how this works. Should we trust Apple and Google with a good faith effort to silence speech? Do you think that, again, this is not a political space here, but it's weird how some speech on different political sides of the aisle are not allowed. I think that's an interesting conversation to have, even though, that in particular is less interesting because they're both lying, cheating bastards. So who cares, right? Both parties are absolutely insane. And it just depends. Like, basically, this is the craziest part, right? And this is why we do this show, and this is why I talked about this in the beginning. It's not even like you have like an indoctrination of this party is so good and I love everything they do. It's always like I hate the other party, right? Like, that's what this is. It's like hate. It's like the 2 minutes of hate. If you guys have read 1984, it's like nobody's ever like, oh, I just love everything about my party, right? Like, the indoctrination is so deep that it's not even that. It's just that you hate the other guy more, right? So there's rarely any, like, again, just look at Congress this year. Just look at Congress and how they handled this whole thing. And here we go. Now, notably, this is interesting too. Now, just to bring it back to Donald Trump, who we started with, just real fast. Again, I know I bring up the orange man, people freak out, hair on fire, run out of the room. No, just listen though. So remember how they dragged their feet for months and months and months because they didn't want to give direct monetary stimulus to the people of this country, right? And it's because we're meant to believe this. We're meant to believe that government is not fast. Everything they do is not quick, right? And so we're meant to believe that everything gets mired down in debate and this and that and the other thing, and that there's so many things happening that we can't consider as regular people because we're not part of that class, right? Nothing can happen quickly, right? Not that they don't allow it to happen. It just can't. It's the speed of government. Again, this is the illusion. But then look what's going to happen. I will laugh my ass off for the rest of my life if in 10 days they run an impeachment on Donald Trump again. I will die laughing. Oh, the government doesn't move quickly, does it? Well, let's see how quickly they move to impeach Donald Trump again. Interesting, right? Interesting. We're meant to believe 9 months later, they shit out a measly $600 as businesses shut down the country over. People unemployed, losing their homes. We've talked about this a lot. I don't have to go into it again. But the speed of government, right? We're meant to believe that it's built into the system. It's part of the bureaucracy. It's not an intentional thing. It's just part of the way they do business in Washington, right? Except when they really, really, really want to get something done. You see? Let's see. They're on a timer. Click. Let's click the timer. Let's see how fast they can run an impeachment. And dare I remind you, last year, around this time, matter of fact, I think they had just actually successfully run an impeachment through the House. Anybody remembers this? And then Nancy Pelosi sat on it for like a month. Anybody remember that? Anybody remember that? Let's see what happens this time. Anyway, just some parallels, right? We have some bizarre parallels between 2020 and 2021 already, right? Like more pressing business. You've got an outgoing president in like 10 days, and we're going to just jam through an impeachment real fast so we could give him a fuck you on the way out the door, right? Like I said, when they want to move, they can move, right? And again, we're supposed to believe all the rest of this illusion that the speed of government is what it is. Just crazy. This is crazy. We live in the upside down, guys. I'm telling you. And look, again, I don't care. If you like Trump, you hate Trump, you're somewhere in the middle. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I do not care. Look at the way they're telling us things operate and the way things actually operate. That's all I'm saying. Let's point it out. Let's think about it. Let's keep it in mind. Click. The timer's rolling. It's on you, Nancy Pelosi. Let's see how fast you can move. All right, here we go. Let's play one more clip from 1984. Kind of round this out with the discussion here with Oceania and Orwell's dystopian vision of the future. Let's play this part. Action.
The mention of your existence somehow by your family, co-workers, is now a thought crime in itself. Documents are changed or destroyed so that there is no evidence you ever did exist. Not that you did, Jimmy. This is how Ainsack is able to quell dissent. This term comes from the official language of the party, newspeak. It's technically just short in English, but it's entirely designed to control the use of words that may be threatening to the party. Simplistic terms like duckspeak, crimethink, black-white. By limiting language to small bits, it makes debate controllable or refutable. Ainsack simply has a monopoly on political discourse because it made the words up. In 1984, this goes deeper than a weird language. Brainwashing is a cultural manifestation that goes down to the personal level. Reality and history itself can be changed with the bureaucratic stroke of a pen, and nobody thinks that stroke ever happened. This is doublethink, a newspeak term to hold two conflicting beliefs and hold both as equal. Neither are canceled out, both are believed. This is best emulated by the ongoing war in the book. The party tells the public that Oceania has always been at war with Eurasia, even if just a few years ago, the enemy was East Asia. East Asian bombs rained on the city, but everyone believes it was Eurasia because Big Brother and the party said so. Eurasia was always the enemy. East Asia was always the ally. This can change on a whim. History and information would be rewritten by the party to reflect any new change. It's not a debate to the people. It was just always this way. It would be like changing colors. The sky is blue, but the party says the sky is now red.
Okay. Or they say that, no, I'm not going to say it because you're not allowed to say it, right? But they say many things. The party says many things. For instance, they say that the speed of government is really slow. It's built into the bureaucracy, and so, they slow walk things when they want to, and we see it happening, but then they say that's not the case. It's just that it has to go through this channel and that channel, approved by this asshole or that asshole. That's not the case at all. Again, like I said, click, they're on the clock. Let's see. Let's see how fast they hop, skip, and jump and impeach Donald Trump ×2. And for the record, my prediction was, right, I get to cherry pick the predictions because I got the microphone right here. But I did say, like a year and a half ago even, that I thought Donald Trump would be the first president to be impeached twice. I did say that. So I didn't expect it to go down quite like this. But I'm kind of rooting for him to get it through real fast in 10 days so that we can see how fast they really move when they want to move. Just FYI. Oh, geez. Okay, so anyway. Unbelievable, right? All right. So anyway, all right, let's go. Let's do a little bit more of this, and then I have a little quick narrative about somebody that refutes this and says this is not the case. 1984 is not the current world we live in. Blah blah, so on and so forth. So, and I do want to hear from you. If you guys have comments on this, are you disturbed about what happened today? Again, like we said, Donald Trump was banned from Twitter, and then a bunch of people moved to Parlor, millions of people all at the same time, and then they were like, "Oh shit, we're losing the Silicon Valley, right? The powers that be realized, oh shit, what have we done?" There's this thing called the Streisand effect, and actually, let's bring that up right now. All right, and I talked about this even. I talked about this on the news a couple days ago. Hold on, let me bust this out just real fast, and then we'll finish this up with some talk about Section 230 and why that matters, and some of the rest of this stuff. So let me. Let's see. Let's get this in order. Let's see. All right. Looking to hear from you, though. 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link, and you can join the show that way as well. And let me find this. Where is this? Did I not get it? Oh, maybe I didn't get it. Hold on. All right. There's this thing called the Streisand effect. All right. Now, this is the part that I didn't understand. Why the technocrats now would move against, especially when, like I said, it would probably be perfectly reasonable for them to just dump Donald Trump the day after, right? The 20th comes, they swear in Biden, and everybody just bans him, right? And they're like, all right, shut up, dude, go away, right? I would expect that. That's what I expected. But then they moved before that, all right? Now here's the thing. It's called the Streisand effect. You guys ever heard of this? Have you ever heard of this? Let's see. Did I link it in Facebook here? I want to make sure I got to include everybody. I want to include everybody in the conversation here. Now, this is the thing. Let's link that. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Now, there's a thing called the Streisand effect. Now, the Streisand effect is a social phenomenon that occurs when an attempt to hide, remove, or censor information has the unintended consequence of further publicizing that information, often via the internet. It is named after American entertainer Barbra Streisand, whose attempt to suppress the California Coastal Records Project's photograph of her residence in Malibu, California, taken to document California coastal erosion, inadvertently drew further attention to it in 2013. All right, now here, real quick, this is a picture they're talking about. You can see it right there. I'm going to link this. And so they were, the Coastal Project took some photographs from a helicopter and, talking about coastal erosion and published these to some magazines, right? Now, what happened was, is that Barbra Streisand was not happy that because of course, look at that beautiful mansion right there on the coast, right? In the California coast. People started to be like, hey, whose house is that? Holy shit, that's a palace. Look at that swimming pool. My God, how much does that thing cost? Who lives there, right? These questions start firing off. They're talking about the coast, the coastal erosion, not the huge mansion right there on the coast. But of course, people's eye get drawn to the cherry of the picture here, which is the Barbra Streisand mansion. All right. So now, of course, it starts to get attention and people want to know who lives there. Whose house is that? Barbra Streisand is not happy. All right. So she here we go. Attempts to suppress information are often made through cease and desist letters. But instead of being suppressed, the information receives extensive publicity, as well as media extensions such as videos and spoof songs, which can be mirrored on the internet or distributed on file-sharing networks. The Streisand effect is an example of psychological reactance, wherein once people are aware that some information is being kept from them, they are significantly more motivated to access and spread that information. Now, that was the weirdest part about today to me. It's like they had a perfect out, 10 more days, let Trump bluster. He's basically robbed of his power at this point. Anyway, let him bluster. And then the day after he's out, ban his ass, and nobody cares, right? They're like, yep, saw that coming. But they did it while he was still president. Now, people flood the Parlor. And let me read this one more time. Attempts to suppress information are often made through cease and desist letters. But instead of being suppressed, the information receives extensive publicity, as well as media extensions such as videos and spoof songs, which can be mirrored on the internet or distributed on file-sharing networks. You see? So I guess this is the question, right? So the technocracy their hubris is so large that they believe the censorship they control is larger than an effect like this, right? Where now they're trying to box out Parlor, right? And so as a result of that, is it or is it not going to give Parlor a fuck ton of media? Is it or is it not? Now, if they pull Parlor's servers, right, which could probably like render them inert, I guess you would say, would somebody not step up just for the publicity and start helping Parlor host to continue as the flood of positive media rolls in? Not because of anything Parlor did in particular, but because of what Twitter did as the negative information. You see? All right. There's some examples here on this Wikipedia page. I don't like citing Wikipedia because they change the shit as it changes, right? But I thought it's pretty funny that the technocrats their hubris is so large that they think that they can do whatever the fuck they want, and the people aren't going to be interested, right? They are moving to box people out of conversations, of wrong think. This is all 1984, guys. This is out of the playbook, 1984. Anyway, I want to hear from you. Are you terrified about this? Do you think it's funny? Do you think that they've gone as far as they're going to go and now they're going to back off? Or do you think that this is just the beginning? You tell me. I want to hear from you. I'm the questions guy. I'm not the answers guy. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubleminds.org. What do you think? Is this a little bit frightening? The Streisand effect. Yes. So, of course, you try and silence everybody's like, fuck, whose house is that? Streisand starts issuing cease and desist letters to take the photo down. It gets news because these news agencies are now getting cease and desist letters from Barbara Streisand. So they start reporting that they're getting cease and desist letters from Barbara Streisand. And then people are like, wait, what's she trying to hide? And then everybody goes and finds these photographs. You see what's happening here? Has anybody heard of Parlor before today? Just asking. I just want to know. I'm just curious. All right. Anyway, let's play some more in 1984. Here we go. We're almost there. Action.
So you believe it's red. Not say or pretend. You with all your heart know for certain that the sky has always been red. Never even considered the change happened. This is another newspeak term called black-white. There are a lot of terms. Why does this happen? Is everyone stupid? Well, if you go by demographics, yeah. It's not this simple, though. This world is all these people have ever known. Think of North Korea. Actually, just apply all of this to North Korea. Kim Jong-il must have gotten inspired somehow. You can say whatever you want when you raise generations to worship you. So, what is INSAC even? Is it fascist, socialist, totalitarian, Green Party? Does it have specific policies? What's its views on states' rights? INSAC in itself is a conundrum, a product of doublethink. Officially, INSAC is socialist. It teaches that the days before the revolution were horrendous, as the average citizen literally bowed to the capitalists, even going so far to say capitalists could choose any woman to sleep with and nobody could do anything. Then INSAC came and forever made the world better. But at the same time, INSAC hates socialists, despises socialist policies, and this is openly admitted by everyone. Yet nobody sees anything wrong with it, because that's the power of doublethink. INSAC ideology, if you can call it that, isn't different at all than Eurasian Bolshevikism or East Asian obliteration of the self. They're basically the same society. Technological and social differences aren't that far apart between the three. This is something that may be recognized by all of them, or simply ignored. We don't know.
We don't know, do we? Because you can't tell, because everything's done behind closed doors. Because there's no transparency in the algorithms, right? There's no way for us to really know, right, what makes something go viral and makes something not. Is there an invisible hand, like not the economic invisible hand, the laissez-faire invisible hand? No. Is there an invisible technocratic hand that's drawing particular things, helping them become viral and suppressing others, right? How would we know without ever having like a transparent view of the algorithms that touch these things and the views of the people that actually control these companies? We can't. We don't. And there's no way to know. But I think, like I said, if you ever wondered This is a fantastic example. If you don't believe in the algorithmic control of the society we live in, just go to YouTube and just scan it for like a week and just check. Or actually, probably the better way is to go like maybe once a week or twice a week for a month and just check what their trending videos are. All right, just click the trending tab and then scroll down and look and see how long ago each video was posted. Just 3 or 4 videos. You don't even need to look very hard. How long ago each video was posted, and then how many views they have, right? So you'll start to see that Beyonce posted a video, and she's got 22 billion views in like 24 hours, right? I exaggerate, of course. But then you'll see that some other thing from Wyoming posted some political shit, and they've got 44,000 views, but they're on the trending tab, right? And they've had a video up for a week. You see what I'm saying? Go look. Just go look. It's all around us. Like I said, we're expected to believe all these things. Like we're expected to believe government is slow and has to be slow, and there's no other way around it, right? Let's see. Like I said, click let's time Nancy Pelosi now to get an impeachment through the House. What do you think? Any bets on that? You think she just rifles one through in like 6 days? So think about that and put it in terms of the stimulus that they dragged their feet for nearly 9 months on. Right? So if they want to get shit done, they can, right? We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to fail and this is just political posturing. That's always possible. But interesting, right? The timing of things, the way things work, the things they tell us have to be because it's part of the reality we live in. And then from time to time, they slip. And the man behind the curtain becomes apparent. And we realize this is not the black and white world we live in. We're in Oz, and everything's in color now. You understand? Do you understand? Crazy stuff. What's up, Smith? I see you there. I see you, Smith from the Matrix. Smith 101. Thanks for showing up. Okay, let's see. Who else do we got? Let's see. The big kid laughing. I'm being silly. Oh, me. Yeah, I'm laughing. Yeah, I'm the guy laughing. Yeah, I regularly laugh at myself and the world we live in. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this off. This is again the backbone of the story is 1984. Here's the last part. We've heard about IngSoc, we've heard about Newspeak and Doublethink and thought crimes and all the rest of this, right? And so you wonder. It makes you wonder, like how close are we to that full spectrum control that the Chinese government already has? Jack Ma, right, the owner of Alibaba, the most wealthy dude in China, has been run out of the country at least, gone into hiding at least, or maybe, like somebody said in that article I shared earlier, they have him captive and he's in a dark room somewhere because he spoke out against the state and because he became too big for the state to control. Well, there's one way to handle that, isn't there? If you're the Chinese. If you're a totalitarian government, right? I don't know. It remains to be seen what happened to Jack Ma, right? Do you think they're going to rough him up, heal him back up, make sure he's got bruises or permanent scars beneath his collar line so you can't actually see them, and then he may reappear in a couple weeks after they've stitched him back up, and then he's going to play ball? Or do you think he disappears entirely? I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on this. It's terrifying and interesting, and it's maybe where we're headed. Here we go. The last part of 1984 action.
The relationship that continues between all of them is perpetual war. War is what runs this world. It's what allows all three nations to survive. It's a distraction. It can rile up the uneducated masses. It's a constant overshadowing force that Big Brother uses. IngSoc is the protector against the Eurasian hordes, or East Asian, whichever. What are they fighting over? Resources? Well, they have all the resources they need, since they control so much territory. Power? No one can really overtake the other. This is already established. Well, then what? Nothing. They're fighting over nothing. The Equatorial Front and Polar Front, as mentioned earlier, was never anybody's territory. It's simply a giant fighting arena, where the economic waste from overloaded military buildup from all of the countries is shipped to. Almost like venting out steam. Borders constantly shift, countless soldiers die from territory which nobody wants, and the native people are enslaved and transferred between the three countries to work for the war machine, which continues the cycle again. All the nations have nukes. They could easily destroy each other, invade Britain or Europe, start wars in Russia and China, actually attacking the homelands. But that disrupts everything. It destroys the balance of power. And these heads of state like their power. So they constantly fight over the jungle and desert to keep what they have, to keep nationalistic fervor up. 1984 is a twisted world. Whether it's realistic or not, doesn't really matter. The consistent theme is information is important. And the control of that information is most important. That's the biggest thing to take away from Orwell's world. Everything Ainsak did was to make sure the population was loyal and too stupid to realize its manipulation, going so far to make those who did manipulate believe they weren't even manipulating in the first place. Does this tie into our world? I'm not even touching that subject.
Yeah, right? Because you're sackless. You can tell a hell of a synopsis there, buddy. I'll link that YouTube video, too. That came from a fantastic video. I'm talking about that. That's what we're talking about tonight. Not even going to touch that subject? The hell we're not. Right? Look at the lefty-righty paradigm. Look at the Aronons. Look at the people that are burning down cities out there. Let's call them the alt-left, right? The alt-right, the alt-left. Again, as Supervike said, I agree. We're the alt-center, right? We're the people that are like, what the fuck is going on in the world we live in? What is this shit? We're really trying to reconcile these two things and say there's not a world that exists outside of these two paradigms? Are you fucking kidding me? These two paradigms are both insane. You see? You let one side run without opposition or the other, and they're both insane. They're both totalitarian, and they both want to take away as much as possible from you and give it to the elites in power. That's it. That is the fact of the matter. I'm sorry. If I hurt your political sensibilities, that's why we're not pushed to the top of the algorithms. Because guess what? All the money goes in on the left and all the money goes in on the right. And the dudes in the middle that are trying to say, look, guys, look what the fuck's going on. Guess what? Here we are. Welcome to the show. Did I mention you're listening to Troubled Minds Radio? And I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we do this live. It's Friday nights, and Friday night is show nights. And we talk about all this crazy stuff, right? All this nutter butter stuff. Stuff that you would never really consider. Maybe it's crossed your mind, or, maybe you haven't been able to put it into specific words in, a 3-hour type show format. But shit, we do it twice a week. You're in the right spot. But we do it live because we want to include you. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. We're going to talk about the Section 230 in just a moment, and we'll finish this show up. But okay, so we got about 15 minutes left. We're going to finish this up. So this is the thing. Section 230. And again, looking for calls from you, Discord, whatever. If you guys want to be on the show, it's important for me to hear what you have to say because I learn from you. Hopefully, you learn from me. Hopefully, we get together and we do this together, and we make sure that we keep each other straight. We keep each other from straying too far left or right, or this or that, or the other way, up, down, left, right, etc. So on. Let's see, up, down, left, right, B, A. Select start. If anybody remembers that reference, but okay, we try and keep each other on the narrow path of trying to find the truth in this world. And again, I don't have it. I don't claim to have it. I've never claimed to have it. Questions, not answers. That's what we're about. One more time, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, and let's go. Let's talk about Section 230 of the Internet and what this actually means, all right? Now, this is important. This is from Tech Dirt, and there's so many misconceptions about actual Section 230, all right? Now, this is the weird part, is that everybody, we've all kind of heard this argument in terms of, the platform or the platform versus the publisher argument, right? So as we've seen that, you post something on Facebook, you post something on Twitter, and they append it. They put like a little, election fraud has been blah, 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 whatever. Or, if you put something about aliens, and you ask some questions about, is it possible aliens have visited this earth? They'll give you like the fact check. They're fact checking things, because they don't want misinformation or, unless it's state-sponsored misinformation, right? And again, now this is exactly the problem. This is exactly why we do the show, exactly why we do it in long form, exactly why we talk a lot about these things, because there's a lot to talk about. Now, for instance, just as an example, before we get to 230 here, Now, if you do put something up about aliens, you're fact checked, right? And then right there, you upload the video on YouTube. They put a little fact check, right? You put something about election fraud in 1960. I have to add that, and they may fact check that and put a little tag on it, right, on Twitter or something, right? If you do that and they put a tag on it, does it make them a platform or a publisher? And is there a difference, right? I think that's the thing. So now Section 230 of the Internet Communications Decency Act specifically, is actually put in place to keep. So, for instance, let's say Facebook, somebody puts information on Facebook how to build a bomb. All right, like they literally detail it all. A post, they type it out. They're ready to go. They put it all up with photographs and pictures and everything. And they're teaching people how to make bombs on Facebook. Right now, of course, Facebook's going to take this down, as well they should. That's probably not information that should be up there. But now what happens is, Section 230 means that Facebook themselves cannot be sued for that content that goes up, all right? Well, they can be, but then it will be dismissed under Section 230. So anyway, here we go. Let's just read some of this. Now, this is important, and I'm linking this, and I want you guys to read this entire thing, please. We're not going to read this entire thing because there's just not enough time, right? We can't go in-depth into every single tiny detail about everything, but I just want you to notice. I want you to be on alert to this one because this particular article is incredible, right? All of those arguments, like I said, the platform publisher stuff, the 230, that bomb thing that I said, but don't make any bombs. Don't be violent. I want to make sure we're on the same page here. This is not what this is about. It was an example, all right? It was just a 230 example. 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Okay, so now let's read this. All right, so this is just the beginning of this, and I want to read it so you guys understand what this article is about. And please read through this yourself, the entire thing, so you understand what this argument is. And the argument here is at the heart of what happened today. All right, with the removing of Donald Trump from social media, with Parlor, and with all the rest of this stuff. Right, all of this. Now listen, right here from the article. Hello. Someone has referred you to this post because you've said something quite wrong about Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. I apologize if it feels a bit cold and rude to respond in such an impersonal way, but I've been wasting a ton of time lately responding individually to different people saying the same wrong things over and over again, and I was starting to feel like this guy. And he's got the little meme. Are you coming to bed? No, I can't. This is important. What? Someone is wrong on the internet. Oh, everybody knows that, right? You got to stay up to make sure you tell the guy that's wrong on the internet. Right. Okay. Anyway, so this guy goes on to write like all this stuff and just make sure that people understand specifically what Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act is all about. All right. And it's all just like I described. It means that you can't be liable as a website or a host, a web host for somebody that puts something up on your website. Right. You can't be held liable for all the crazy things people do, basically. Right. Digitally. Here you go. Let's see. Here, let's just read the bullet points. If you said, once a company that starts moderating content, it's no longer a platform but a publisher. If you said that, all right, he says, I regret to inform you that you are wrong. I know that you've likely heard this from someone else, perhaps even someone respected, but it's just not true. The law says no such thing. Again, I encourage you to read it. The law does distinguish between interactive computer services and information content providers, but that is not, as some imply, a fancy legalistic way of saying platform or publisher. There is no certification or decision that a website needs to make to get 230 protections. It protects all websites and all users of websites when there is content posted to the sites by someone else. All right? You follow that? All right. Now, interesting. Again, this continues. There's a lot here, right? There's a lot here. Look at all the words on this. Lots of words. I know it's dense, right? We learn things by reading things from smart people that understand. We're not going to read it all. We can't. We don't have time. Look. Part 2. If you said because of Section 230, websites have no incentive to moderate. Okay? He says again, you are wrong. If you reformulated the statement to say that Section 230 itself provides no incentives to moderate, then you'd be less wrong, but still wrong. First, though, let's dispense with the idea that thanks to Section 230, sites have no incentive to moderate. Find me a website that doesn't moderate, he says. Go on. All actually do moderate. There's a reason that all such websites do moderate, even those that strike a free speech pose. Number 1. because other laws require at least some level of moderation. For example, copyright laws and laws against child porn, right? For example. Number 2, more importantly, with no moderation, a platform fills up with spam, abuse, harassment, and just all sorts of garbage that makes it a very unenjoyable place to spend your internet time. All right? You understand, right? So, okay. Again, let's skip to the next one. If you said Section 230 is a massive gift to big tech, he says, once again, I must inform you, you are very, very wrong. There's nothing in Section 230 that applies solely to big tech. Indeed, it applies to every website on the internet and every user of those websites. That means it applies to you as well as helps to protect your speech. It's what allows you to repeat something someone else said on Facebook and not be liable for it. It's what protects every website that has comments and any other third-party content. It applies across the entire internet to every website and every user and just not to big tech. All right? Copy that? All right. See, again, very smart, very, very well thought out. Again, he's spending too much time telling people on the internet they're wrong. So one article, we get it all in the same thing. And so we're able to read it and talk about it, right? Here he goes. He continues, if you said a site that has a political bias is not neutral and thus loses its Section 230 protections, he says, I'm sorry, but you are very, very, very wrong. Perhaps more wrong than anyone saying any of the other things. First off, there is no neutrality requirement at all in Section 230. All right? You catch that? Section 230. No neutrality requirement. All right? Seriously, he says. Read it. And here it is. Here it is. Read it. I'm going to link it, and you guys can also read it yourself if you prefer, and you can actually see what's going on with this. Now, this is important, right? This shit is important. The details of these things are critically important. And it's why we're talking about it. All right? Now, there's the actual code itself, right? 47 U.S. Code 230, protection for private blocking and screening of offensive material. All right, here we go. Now, he says, let's see. Okay, so I put it, there's no neutrality requirement. Okay, he says, if anything, it says the opposite. It says that sites can moderate as they see fit and face no liability. This myth is out there and persists because some politicians keep repeating it. But that's wrong and the opposite of truth. Indeed, any requirement of neutrality would likely raise significant First Amendment questions, as it would be involving the law and editorial decision making. Right. So again, this is not even a 230 argument anymore. This becomes an antitrust argument, right? It becomes an argument of monopoly. It becomes an argument of a company that's too big to really take direction from the government anymore. They can do whatever the fuck they want, and they can cut out any number of people they want at any given time on a whim. That's what we're dealing with. Very little of this Section 230 has anything to do with that. It applies to you. It applies to me. It means that you listening to me right now, let's say I was a terrorist talking about doing terrible terrorist things, and you here listening to me right now would not hold YouTube or Facebook or yourselves liable for that. I would be liable for that, right? Like they would be able to come after me and not you. You understand? Like there's a big distinction here, and these are the things we need to know about. So we need to be angry about the way that these things are done and carried out, but we need to be angry in the right ways and at the right people. And again, who's allowed all of this, right? Who's allowed this? The government, Congress. It's the same thing with the tax code. Who's allowed this? Who's allowed healthcare to take a shit and fall off a cliff? The government. Who's allowed all of these terrible things that we're always bitching and moaning about? At least that I am. The government. They've allowed it. They've allowed it. Even though they say, oh, it's a massive bureaucracy and we have to move really slow and drag our feet. Let's see what happens when they want to get shit done. Tick-tock, Nancy Pelosi, you're on the clock. If you pull an impeachment in 6 days, you're all full of shit. This is all a big fucking mirage. All right, here we go. If you said Section 230 is why there's hate speech online, he says, oops, you're either the New York Times or very confused. Maybe both. The First Amendment protects hate speech in the U.S. Elsewhere, not so much. Either way, it has little to do with Section 230. You check that? The First Amendment protects hate speech in the U.S. You check that? You check that, right? I'm not saying go out and sling some hate speech because it's cool. I'm saying it's protected, right? Which is, again, the First Amendment argument. The cancel culture folks, culturers, did I say culturers? Holy shit, that's not even a word. The cancel culture, folks. Holy shit. Look, when you get to the point where you're just making up words, maybe it's time to stop. But that's okay because we're about to stop. We're about to finish here. I want to hear from you, though. Look, we had two calls from the same dude. You need to call in. What do you think about the show? I want feedback. Is this more shit you want to hear? Or should I just stop entirely? Should I say, fuck it, nobody wants to call me, I'm out. I'm going to go watch a ball game instead. I want to hear from you. Yes, I'm shaming you. This is cancel culture in real time. I'm talking to you. 702-957-1037. And I'm just kidding. Discord, troubledminds.org. Do the things. We're talking about Section 230 of the Internet Decency Act. All right. Now, again, so if you said Section 230 means these companies can never be sued, I regret to inform you, you're wrong. Internet companies are sued all the time. Section 230 merely protects them from a narrow set of frivolous lawsuits in which the websites are sued either for the content created by others or in cases where they're being sued for the moderation choices they make, which are mostly protected by the First Amendment anyway. All right. So basically 230 says that instead of going through long litigious garbage, they're able to just dismiss it. It's like a shortcut to say, no, you can't hold this person responsible for the shit they host. Like that was from some other knucklehead posted some shit on their website. Otherwise, again, think about the world without 230. 230 is a good thing, guys. Does it need to be amended? I think so. I think they need to put a couple little squeaks in here to make sure that this shit doesn't happen. But what can you do, right? What can you do? Anyway, look, I'm going to just scroll through the rest of this article. You see, how much did you learn about all this in like 10 minutes? Right? Actually, this actually is almost over. I thought this was going to be like a huge... These are all the comments. The comments are good too. But okay, so this is... let's finish it then. We're at time-wise, we're good. Okay, we're just about done. If you said Section 230 gives websites blanket immunity, the courts have made it clear this is not the case at all. In fact, many cases have highlighted situations in which Section 230 does not apply, from the roommates case to the AccuSearch case to the Doe v. Internet Brands case to the Oberdorf versus Amazon case. We see plenty of cases where judges have made it clear that there are limits to Section 230 protections, and the immunity conveyed by Section 230 is not as broad as people claim. All right, there you go. All right. If you said Section 230 is why big internet companies are so big, you are again incorrect. As stated earlier, Section 230 is not unique to big internet companies, and indeed, it applies to the entire internet. That means troubledminds.org, our tiny little website, it applies to us too. If you post something on there that's terrible, you can't equate it to me and say, that Michael Strange is hosting this shit. He's the asshole. Sue him. Get him. No, somebody else posted it. Final thing. If you said, if all this stuff is actually protected by the First Amendment, then we can just get rid of Section 230. He says you're still wrong, though perhaps not as wrong as everyone else making these bad takes. Without Section 230 relying solely on the First Amendment, you still open up basically the entire internet to nuisance suits. All right? Section 230 helps to get cases dismissed early, whereas using the First Amendment would require lengthy and costly litigation. 230 does not rely strongly on the first, does rely firstly on the First Amendment, but it provides a procedural advantage in getting vexatious, frivolous nuisance lawsuits shut down much faster than they would be otherwise. There you go. There's more shit than you ever wanted to know about Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. But does that mean that it needs to stay the way it does? I don't know about that. I think that given the abuse, like I said, maybe it's not a Section 230 argument. Maybe the argument we're having here is an antitrust argument, an argument about monopolies, an argument about executives too big to jail, you know, and where I don't want to get this wrong and make you think that Michael Strange said to go arrest Jack from Twitter. It's not what I fucking said, all right? If anybody's trying to make that take and run it to whoever, and that's not what I said. I said China isn't doing this shit, and they made this dude disappear, all right? Whether he escaped or whether he's in a dark room right now, we don't know yet. That remains to be seen. But they made this dude, the richest dude in China, disappear, and they are restructuring the shit out of his companies, and they're going at him with monopolistic antitrust suits, all right? Now, I'm not saying we should be China. Far from it. What I'm saying is the government has allowed these companies to become too big. And these companies now run the country, and look what happened today. They removed a sitting president from social media. And then people freaked out, and they flooded to Parlor, an alternative. And then two bigger companies, the big fish in the lake, flexed their muscles and ran people off of Parlor, right? They're like, oh, well, congratulations, you can't even download it from our app stores anymore. By the way, everybody uses an Apple phone or an Android to the 99th percentile, but fuck off, right? You don't say the things we want you to say, and you cannot hear them. Do you understand? We have a problem here. There's a serious problem here. It has nothing to do with the Orange Man and your political take on that guy. I don't care. There's a much larger conversation here. And as you know, that's why we do it. That's why we do it in this format. And that's why we do these things. That's why we, again, I'm not a journalist. I'm not a pundit. Well, maybe sometimes. I'm just a dude. I'm an asshole on the internet with a microphone. Do you understand? But how come you come here and you learn a bunch of shit you've never heard before? Why? Why? Explain to me that. I'll tell you why. Because the people out there, the mainstream media and the powers that be, don't want you to know these things. Because you see how inconvenient they are. When you talk about Al Gore and the inconvenient truth, it's a lot bigger than his shitty little movie. Let me tell you that. So, all right, we're done. Got a couple minutes left. Looking for you guys to call, want to take or not. Listen to this again. Go back. Hear what we're talking about right now. There's a lot here. And if you think they'll squelch a sitting president, if you think they'll stop there, they've crossed some lines today. The technocrats, big tech, right? The government. There's some shit, and again, Donald Trump too. All of it, right? Again, there's a lot of shit here to think about and to talk about. But again, frame it in another way, you're on Sean Hannity, right? Or Don Lemon. Frame it this way and ask you to make up your own mind, and you're wallowing at the bottom of YouTube. You see? You think I'm any less good as a presenter than these assholes? You think I'm any smarter or less smart than these assholes? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But you tell me. Is it about the message? Is it about the brainwash? Yeah, there's a lot of answers here. But I don't have them. Maybe you do. And so again, right, the way these conversations go, I don't bring you answers, I bring you those questions. And hopefully, if I can't change the world one day, I can inspire the person who does. Or I can tell you the things we talked about tonight, and you can go inspire the person who does. You see? There are effects here to talking on the internet. There are, like we've said in the past, words have power. And please be peaceful. Please don't go attack. There's no civil war. Be good to yourself. All those things, right? All those things we always say. There's no reason to be mad, okay, at your neighbor. There's every reason to be mad at a government that allows these things, at a technology company that flexes and puts their power out unnecessarily. Yeah. So anyway, we're done. All right, I actually got a caller here. There we go. I want to know. We're going to do this. All right. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from, sir? Or ma'am?
Hey, Michael. I'm calling from Toronto and Canada, Toronto. And my first name's Adrian. I'm Smith 101 in chat.
Sweet. What's up, Adrian? Welcome to Troubled Minds, man. Everything is cool. I got you, buddy. No need to be nervous. We're good. What's on your mind tonight?
Not much. Just wanted to show my appreciation. I love the show. I love what you're doing. I love the topics you discuss. And yeah, I'm just here to say you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I love the call.
Thank you. That's very nice. Up there in Canada, let me ask you: has the press covered a lot of this? The Donald Trump coming off of social media and shit? I'm sure they're going off the rails, right? Just like us.
Not really. Like, we don't really. I don't know. I don't know what's happening too much, but the pandemic, like in Toronto at least, like we're on lockdown now, so we're not even allowed. Like, they've canceled all activities, so we're all stuck in our houses, really. So
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah.
That's handy. Are you doing okay? Are you hanging in there in spite of all that?
Yeah, like I was supposed to go snowboarding, but like they took that away from me, so now I'm disappointed.
Well, at least let's look at the
yeah.
bright side. You can be here with us tonight instead. So I appreciate that a lot. There's one door opens, another closes, right? Or the vice versa, as they say. So, okay,
Yeah,
so you like how I did that? So basically, this is the trick, right? So being on the microphone all this time, once you stick your foot in your mouth, just roll with it. And you see, it almost seems like you meant to do it. But I totally fucked that up. But anyway, all right. So what do you think about all this? Is the same thing? Do you think there's a similar thing in Canada going on with internet restrictions and the rest of this?
I was thinking about my Reddit sports streams. Right, they take it away, but it's the people posting the streams, right? But I guess Reddit has to take it away since it's illegal. But it's like people doing it at the end of the day, so it kind of should be allowed. I don't know.
That's an interesting.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing about Reddit too. Like I was talking to somebody recently about this, and Reddit's one of those places that's kind of like the Wild West a little bit. And they there's some draconian mods and stuff in different subreddits, but for like a huge chunk of Reddit, oddly enough, like the community polices itself.
Like, yeah.
It's a little bit decentralized. I mean, there's some shills and stuff in there for sure, and some mods are probably paid by China and stuff. But I mean, like, it's weird that like if you spam a bunch on Reddit, like the users report you. You know what I mean? They're like, this guy's an asshole spammer, and they take you down, right? It's crazy.
It's almost like its own internet kind of thing. I don't know. It's like its own Google.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
It's its own critter for sure. Like I was, just trying to share some of the work we did here on the show, right? Like just chopping it up in little pieces and putting it around. But then you look like a spammer, right? And I'm like, and people start reporting you and they start banning you from subreddits and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm just trying to spread some information, guys. But they're like, no, you're being an asshole. You're giving us, blah, blah, too much of this or too much of that. Weird, man. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah. So,
weird world.
The weird world, yeah, for sure. Okay, anything else? What's on your mind, man? I've been waiting all night for a call, so not to put you on the spot, but dance, bro, dance.
Honestly, like, okay, we're talking about aliens. Like, here's my take on it, because I know, like, that's the show. I don't believe in those like green-headed people, like they're portrayed as, right? Like, where does that come from? Where like. What made the first image of an alien come from? Like these green, is it like the movies that did it? If that makes sense. Because like there's a new Netflix show and it's called, I don't know the name, but I'll type it in Discord. It's talking about realistic planets and aliens out there. But when I'm talking about aliens, I'm talking about like other species that look like animals, not like those green-headed alien kind of creatures that it's portrayed as. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, okay, so
my question is, like, where does this image come from? These aliens, like, as the green big head things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a hell of a question. If you haven't checked out the show, we did one probably a week back, 10 days maybe, and we had an academic on here that was kind of making the case that alien abduction scenarios are not like a physical thing, but a kind of a subconscious shared like mythology. It's like so okay, like for instance, alien life, right? Like I made the point to him when he was talking about this that and this is one take. I don't know the answers to these things, but I'm gonna give you my best shot here.
We're looking for the truth, right?
Yeah, of course. So like here's the thing, right? So given like the entire universe, you wouldn't expect aliens to have 2 arms and 2 legs and like ears and a nose and shit, right? Like you wouldn't expect that. Like you would expect it to be fucking weird, like as weird as you could imagine. Like that would be alien life. And so so where I kind of agree a little bit with the academic, his name was Logan. He was on here, and he was fantastic. He was a little bit controversial, pissed off some people in the chat. But I think that there's something to this, that given that if we try and speculate about alien life, how come so many of them end up looking like people? So maybe there is some kind of like subconscious type of campfire thing that we pass on from one internet site to the next, to one generation to the next, because we're talking about they were talking about little green men that shaped like the same thing in 1940. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that's
and
so far
still,
removed.
like, to this day, that isn't it like to this day there's like people still see aliens as that, and I kind of disagree on that, because I'm one of those people. I only believe it until I see it. So like I won't, like, I believe in other life, but I don't believe in like aliens walk, because I was there for I was there for one thing, and we were talking about how aliens are like, they're at the supermarket because they're disguised as humans. I thought that was funny, but like I would never believe them.
I was talking about that? When was I talking about?
Yeah. It was a while back ago, but we were talking about like, yeah.
Okay. That doesn't sound like something I'd say, bro, but okay. Okay. I believe you.
We were talking about how they were, how, like, I don't know, like, they can go to any person, like, they can't, I don't know. It was a while ago.
It's okay. And so, again, I mean, like these are many times that we talk about these things. They're all thought experiments. Like I always say, there's no such thing as a UFO expert. Otherwise, they'd blow a whistle, and then the fucking UFO would show up, and the aliens would get out, and you can meet them. You know what I'm saying? There's no fucking UFO experts. No matter what anybody's out there trying to tell you, they're like, no, shut up, Michael Strange. You don't know shit about aliens and UFOs. I'm like, oh yeah, you do. Bring me one, right? Bring me one. Yeah. Come on.
No.
Come on.
Sometimes I'm outside, I'm looking at the sky, and sometimes I hope for an alien to show up. I don't know.
Yeah, don't say that. Like, don't say that, because they've had some people.
Why? They could be good. No?
Well, maybe. I'll tell you what. If it happens and it's good, will you call me back and tell me when you met him? I want to know.
I will call you back. I'll let you know how it goes.
I appreciate that. All right, so let's finish this up. Final thoughts on tonight? What do you think?
Not too much. The show, it's good.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you listening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for being enthusiastic. Thank you for having an open mind to discuss these things and not be like rage. Like they're like, if you wrong think.
Nah, I'm open to all ideas. Since nobody knows the answer to these kind of things, it's like, come on. Who are you to tell Michael is wrong or he's right? No one really knows. And,
the beauty's in the conversation to me. So like I said, I appreciate you. I thank you for listening. Thanks for showing up. I've seen your thoughtful chat in the comments there. So definitely good stuff, man. I appreciate you. And thanks again for hanging out. Thanks again. Don't please call me back ASAP if the aliens get you. I want to know about it.
I'll let you know. Okay. Nice talking to you.
I appreciate it, brother. Have a great night. Thanks for being on the show. There you go. That's Adrian from Canada, guys. Easy as that, right? You join the caller queue, you call the phone number, you get on the show, and you get smart people that are interested in these things and want to talk about all the shit that's not being talked about. So here we are at the end, and like I said, there's no answers here. There are no answers. Like there's maybe some directions we should head with some of the questions we ask, but there's no, I don't know. I don't freaking know. Should we be worried about the big tech thing? I wonder. So, talking about the election fraud that like we did tonight of 1960, I wonder if we're going to get tripped by the algorithm. This is more of a test than anything else, but it's also hopefully some interesting shit to talk about and think about. Election fraud of 1960, JFK, and I got to add this to make sure that it's appended to the into the database. JFK and Nixon. Yeah, it's widely considered to be a dirty election. Just to round this out, finish this up. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Let's see if we got away with it. Again, thank you, Smith 101 for the call there. And let's finish this up. Let's play some outro music. This is a long ass show, and I know I've wore you guys out. You guys are not done with me yet. You think you're sick of me now? Holy shit! Tomorrow night, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to be on the Penny Bunny Show. I'm going to be on the Curious Bunny on YouTube, and we're going to talk about all this shit again, and some more, and some other shit, and some shit you never even heard of, because that's what we do. Because we try and open our minds and take all of the information and kind of spit it out, regurgitate it, and in a hopefully a smart way. Hopefully a way that makes you think, because that's all this is really about. In my opinion, that's really all this is about. I don't care if you agree with me. I don't care if you don't. I don't care. I just don't give a shit. This is not about who has the biggest dick on the internet, or whatever. You know what I mean? As the genitalia may lie. You know what I mean? That's not what this is about. It's not about being right and being wrong. It's about having a conversation and understanding we can agree or disagree and still be friends at the end of it. That's it. That's it. At the end of this, let's play some outro music. You can catch me on the Penny Bunny Show, the Curious Bunny. Follow both those channels on YouTube. I will post it in the Discord when we go live tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific-ish. We'll be there, and come check it out. Penny's a smart lady from the UK. She can give you the update on what's happening in the United Kingdom with their Stage 7 lockdowns or whatever the hell's going on over there. There's some sick shit happening in the UK, guys. Home of the Magna Carta. Yeah, and there's some sick shit going down in the United Kingdom. We'll talk about that and more stuff, aliens and whatever else tomorrow, as we do. But right now, you're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. If you'd like more of this, Tuesdays and Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific, we do this show. We go 3 long hours plus, and we do it for you, meaning that you're able to call in and be part of this. And it's like I said, I've met a ton of amazing people, Penny included, from doing this show, right? And again, like we can get together without ever meeting in person. We could get together and still appreciate each other and each other's opinions, and be able to be right and be wrong together, because that's what we do. So anyway, let's finish this up. If you like this show, Tuesdays, Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you like more of this talk and you can't get enough, join the Twitch right there on the top, troubledminds.org. Click the Twitch thing. We go 5 days. Excuse me as I burp on myself. 5 days a week right there on Twitch. And you can find we do a conspiracy news show where we talk about this type of stuff, just based on the news cycle, the shit they don't want to cover. So that's what we do. Again, I'll be on Penny Bunny, the Curious Bunny, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, and it's 11 p.m. UK time, and we will do that. So please join us there. We'll see you there tomorrow. As of right now, I'm going to play some outro music and try and not choke on myself here as I drink my 3rd beer. Cheers, everybody. Happy Friday. And let's see. I guess the question is, we have an answer. We have an answer, right? Do you really think that the technocracy should be reined in at some point? I think, yeah.
Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
Yes, the nondescript group of people that you don't have to actually point to, those people, right, specifically, they say yes. Anyway, we're done. You guys are the best. We are finishing this sucker up, and let's go to this outro music. Let's see, what am I playing? What am I playing here? I'm playing, how about this one? Yeah, we started with that. Let's go with this. You are listening to Troubled Minds Radio. And I'm your host, Michael Strange. Thank you for listening. Oh, geez. All right. Tuesdays, Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific. 5 days a week on Twitch. Exclusive news show over there. Come join us. Come say hi. We do it live just like this. We take live calls just like this. Subject matter is a little bit short, a little different. We rifle through a bunch of news stories. Come join us there. If you want to support the show, there's a free way to do it. You can support us on Twitch. If you have an Amazon Prime account, I told a friend about this a couple weeks ago. And that friend was like, really? You can actually link the two and get some shit? You link your Prime account with your Twitch account, and they send you free games. He did this a couple weeks ago, and he called me today. He's like, holy shit, have you seen the free games you get just from linking these two together? I'm like, no, I haven't checked. He's all, dude, there's a bunch of like really sweet shit. So there you go. Link the two together. You get free games directly from Amazon, and you get $5 a month you can send to your favorite streamer. So how about that? Thanks to Arc Platinum. Appreciate for pointing that out. I had no idea. And I'm What am I doing? I'm asking you. Humbly. Can I please be your favorite streamer? And can you please click the subscribe button on Twitch and link your Prime account and send some free money to me that you couldn't spend anyway? Because it's a perk of your Prime account. Anyway, we're done. You guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. Come see us over there tomorrow night again. Penny Bunny, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. UK time. 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be there. And we're going to be doing more shows and more talking about this type of stuff. Thanks again. You guys are the best. As of right now, have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. And I'm your host, Michael Strange. Oh, geez. Thank you for listening again. And from our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The Curious Bunny channel. Here you go. I'm gonna link this up. Here we go. Please follow this channel. I'm dropping it in the Facebook chat. And you guys can join us over there tomorrow. For the folks that are not there, here we go. There's the Curious Bunny channel. We'll be there tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. UK time. So there we go. Follow that channel and we'll see you there. Have a great night, guys. You're the best. We'll see you soon.